On the 201 freeway, it is starting to clear out a little bit, but you will still see a touch of slowing between Mountain View Corridor and Bangerter Highway. The rest of on Bangerter Highway and Mountain View Corridor looking pretty good throughout the West Valley City. I'm Aubrey Withrich in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, it looks like we'll get up to the low 60s, but it'll be sunny. We'll stay in the 60s until the weekend. We'll get up to 78 by Sunday. It's going to be beautiful. Right now, it's 43 degrees downtown. Inside Sources coming up next on KSL News Radio.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time is 9 o'clock. I'm Adam Small. The look at our top stories this hour. Utah Senator Mike Lee is leading a movement to cut funding for DEI programs, imitating a measure introduced here in Utah in 2024 that removed all funding at publicly funded institutions and universities, promoting assistance to historically marginalized groups. The national focus is on contracts awarded to businesses owned by women and racial or ethnic minorities.
And the term equity can be perceived differently by different people. If one were to use the term fairness instead, I don't think most people would disagree with the notion that scarce resources need to be dealt with in a fair manner. But our laws make certain kinds of decisions unlawful, including when they are based on race.
That was Lee speaking in a hearing last August. A legislative candidate who sued the county clerk after failing to qualify for the ballot by 3 signatures has lost. Lisa Dean is running for House District 39 and turned in over 1,300 signatures. 997 were verified. She sued, asking the county to lower the requirement and claiming the Salt Lake County clerk didn't do everything she could to verify the signatures. The court ruled against her. Our top national story this hour from ABC News: the Republican in-party fighting over John Cornyn's seat in the U.S. Senate may have unintended consequences come November.
In the Texas Public Opinion Research Survey, likely general election voters in the Lone Star State say they would back Democrat James Tallarico over incumbent Senator John Cornyn, 44% to 41%, just outside the poll's margin of error. In a hypothetical matchup with Ken Paxton, Tallarico holds an even wider lead. But November is still a long way off, and no Democrat has won a statewide election in Texas in over 30 years. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Your money at this moment: Dow not doing so hot to start the morning, down 241 points currently. That's down almost 0.5%. The S&P 500 slightly below even, down 47 points. NASDAQ actually up 26 points. Coming up, we'll take a look at your weather forecast and as well as the latest conditions out there on the roads. We'll get a look at that next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Mother's Day is right around the corner. And J&J Garden Center in Layton has everything you need to make Mom's Day bloom. Right now, the greenhouses are full of vibrant flowers, beautiful hanging baskets, and colorful plants that make the perfect gift for Mom. Choose from stunning hanging baskets and 4.5-inch seed geraniums, both 20% off during the Mother's Day celebration at J&J Garden Center. Or brighten her garden with beautiful bedding plants that will bring color to her yard all season long. Whether Mom loves tending her garden or simply enjoys fresh flowers on the patio, you'll find something she'll love at J&J Garden Center. Stop by, explore the greenhouses, and pick out the perfect blooms to celebrate the moms in your life. Visit J&J Garden Center in Layton and make this Mother's Day one that truly blossoms. J&J Garden Center.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
While the weather's mild, it's a perfect time to get your air conditioner ready for summer. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time you're outside, take a look at your air conditioner. There's a few things you can do to avoid common breakdowns that happen at the beginning of the season. If you covered it for the winter, uncover it. If the bushes and shrubs are growing around it, make sure you trim them back about 18 to 24 inches. If the coils are dirty, rinse them off with your garden hose. Then go inside and make sure you have a clean filter. If you do all that and find yourself with an air conditioner that isn't working, consider calling Any Hour Services. We have an air conditioner troubleshooting special for any homeowners listening. For only $29, we'll send a certified HVAC technician to your home to troubleshoot why your air conditioner isn't working. Then they'll give you a summary of their findings and present you options to repair it. To find out why your air conditioner isn't working for only $29, call Any Hour Services today at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Let's get a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got a crash on the off-ramp from southbound I-15 to Center Street in Provo. It looks like they're blocking a couple of left lanes there and creating some congestion on the off-ramp. But main flow I-15 through Utah County looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit slow on North 15 just before Pleasant Grove Boulevard. North 15 going from Utah County into Salt Lake County. Still seeing those heavy delays around the point of the mountain, especially approaching Bangerter Highway. But closer to Salt Lake, those delays have eased out. It's a little slower in Murray at 4500 South. South 15 from Davis County into into Salt Lake County looking pretty good. A little slow around Warm Springs Road. We do have a crash on South 15, though, in Davis County. This is in Bountiful near 5th South. 500 South, that is. They are out of traffic and blocking the right shoulder, so no delays behind them. This Mother's Day, give her more than just a gift with Minky Couture. 50% off any regular price blankets with code KSL50. Shop online at minkycouture.com or in-store. I'm Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Yeah, so weather expects sunny skies today with some clouds moving in later with highs in the 60s. More of the same tomorrow, but by this weekend, expect temperatures to rise back up into the 70s. Right now, it's 48 degrees and sunny skies in downtown Salt Lake City. I'm Adam Small from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, there are two important things going on at the Supreme Court today, the United States Supreme Court. One, a decision came out this morning, just about an hour ago, Holly. And second, arguments are occurring about the same time at the Supreme Court regarding these temporary protected status that the administration is attempting to do away with on a couple of countries. But let's talk about the first one, which is a hearing that was held regarding Louisiana's law. And it's a redistricting case. It kind of is going to hit close to home here in Utah. But the Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 decision, split between liberal and conservative justices, that the Louisiana's majority black congressional district was unconstitutional because it was racially discriminatory. This is kind of a setback for minority voters in Louisiana. And here's more from ABC's Kevin Dwyer.
This decision came in a case out of Louisiana involving a court-ordered drawing addition of a second majority black district in that state because of the size of the state's population. And the Supreme Court today, in this decision, said that the court violated the 14th Amendment by adding, the state rather, violated the 14th Amendment by adding that district. They used race impermissibly, consciously, to add a second district to aid those voters. And they said that is simply not allowed under our Constitution. Justice Samuel Alito didn't go as far as saying race can never be used in drawing these maps. That's something the court has affirmed before to comply with the Voting Rights Act. But he put a significant new limit on how courts can order states to draw their maps to be more equitable. He said that Section 2 imposes liability only when evidence supports a strong inference that the state intentionally drew its map to discriminate. So a setback for minority voters in Louisiana. And now, Kira, the impact of this decision is going to start to ripple across the country.
So it's one of the decisions, I think that is, to me, it's just surprising because it just undercuts the 1964 Voting Rights Act that was passed by Congress, affirmed by the Supreme Court multiple ways in different times. And I guess I just don't understand why they made that decision, but we can talk about why they did.
Yeah, so the Voting Rights Act has now been in place for 61 years. It's been gutted a little bit more and more by the Supreme Court. It was passed, I think, during the Gerald Ford, I'll think of it in a minute, Lyndon Johnson administration. And it was to include what was already provided in the 15th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which was essentially that provision provides that the right to vote cannot be denied based on race.
Right.
So the Voting Rights Act of 1965 intended to sort of codify that and say, okay, what we're going to do is prevent states from doing things that do exactly that because especially in the South, there were some Jim Crow type laws.
Well, and they would gerrymander so that the black voters would be separated, right, from each other. They were diluting the vote deliberately, and so we had the Civil Rights Act, this Voting Rights Act, and now we're going back to saying, okay, we can dilute your vote again.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
By gerrymandering based on political affiliation, but not race.
Yeah, well, you're right. The Supreme Court basically said this particular district in Louisiana was so particularly gerrymandered to include African Americans that they went too far the other way, that it excludes other voters. And I know that I'm sort of nitpicking here, but if you read the opinion, and again, it was 6-3, and I think you'll be happy to talk about Kagan's dissent in a minute here, because she certainly had a lot to say about it. But they basically said that it went too far, that they really gerrymandered the state to make it a specifically black majority district.
Well, and it was only one district specifically that they're looking at. So that's interesting to me too. So we do have more insight from ABC News legal contributor James Sample, who's sharing his analysis.
This is a ruling that almost completely constitutionalizes a color blindness principle to the point that even race-conscious remedies designed to remedy racial discrimination are unconstitutional under the very amendments, the 14th and 15th Amendments, that the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act were designed to make real and manifest in the country. So this is a diametrical shift in voting rights practices, a diametrical shift in the area of race and racial discrimination and the remedies for racial discrimination.
So it's interesting also because Louisiana drew that second district to comply with what they thought was the Voting Rights Act under the prior interpretation. And now they have to go back and look at it again and redo it, which I don't know how they can do that before November, but I think they're going to try.
Yeah, and it's really, it reminds me of what happened with affirmative action a couple of years ago, where we had a law in place, and then people are saying, well, wait a minute, what it tends to do is discriminate the other way, and I know it's different logic, but it came to the same sort of conclusion. And I think where we are in this country is thinking that we've taken affirmative action, whether it's by gerrymandering the state or voting districts or whatnot, too far. And what this analyst that you just introduced, Sample, said, basically you've just got to be colorblind now when you design these legislative districts. You can't exclude, but you can't necessarily include.
Right. So you mentioned Justice Kagan's opposition or her dissent, and she has dropped the word respectfully from her dissents lately. So she says, in part, she says this: I dissent because Congress elected otherwise. I dissent because the court betrays its duty to faithfully implement the great statute Congress wrote. I dissent because the court's decision will set back the foundational right Congress granted of racial equality in electoral opportunity. I dissent.
So she's clearly talking about the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and saying, look, you just gutted what Congress intended to do.
Yeah.
And we just continue to do that. Of course, you've got the Voting Rights Act, you've got the 15th Amendment. Both seem to have supported what Louisiana was trying to do, but the Supreme Court disagreed in the manner in which they did it.
Well, I had more to say, but we're already out of time.
Sorry.
So, look, we're going to stay with the Supreme Court because we want to talk about the arguments that they're hearing today on the Trump administration efforts to end temporary protected status for many Syrians and Haitians living in the United States. In fact, it will probably impact up to 17 different countries. We'll talk about that when we come back.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team.
Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest. A sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167. At
KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Save $2 when you buy 2 cans of Superior Products Coverall tire dressing. Plus, get 4 times O'Rewards points now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
We want to stay at the Supreme Court, but something came up after the last segment, which was the gerrymandering case out of Louisiana. And I wanted to ask you, Holly, whether or not you felt like, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, that decision would have any implications in what we're doing here in Utah, where our state is gerrymandered under a little bit different, well, a lot different.
Well, gerrymander depends, I think you can say, fairly. It depends on where you stand. But no, I don't think this case will have anything to do with Utah's new districts, because they were not drawn based on racial lines at all, right? Utah doesn't have a predominantly black area for sure, right? We have a tiny fraction of our population is black. We have a growing number of people who are Hispanic, of course, but anyway, I don't think it'll have any impact at all on Utah's congressional districts. I think those are set.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just thought maybe a lot of our listeners might go, hey, what about Utah?
Yeah, no, I think that's a really great question. And there's one other thing that I think is unusual, because we were talking about this case, and the courts 3 years ago, the Supreme Court made the opposite decision less than 3 years ago from Alabama. And so that's what Louisiana used, is that court decision 3 years ago to draw these districts that now they're saying, okay, well, those districts are unconstitutional. That's kind of whiplash.
And I think that's got the dissent a little bit upset.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute, we usually have a little bit of time to honor our prior decisions. 3 years to flip around is kind of quick.
Anyway, so that's really interesting. And I don't know what their primary dates are for elections in Louisiana, but they're going to have to really hustle if they're redrawing districts before 2026.
Well, let's stay at the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, because they are hearing arguments today, I think right now actually, regarding Trump's efforts to end temporary protected status for Syrians and Haitians in the United States. Here's ABC's Peter Haramboulos with the story. Maybe.
The outcome of the argument will directly affect the future of roughly 350,000 Haitians and about 6,000 Syrians who rely on temporary protected status. The Trump administration has argued the immigrants were never intended to be permanent residents, and that the conditions on the ground in both countries are sufficiently safe for them to return home. But lawyers for the immigrants argue the conditions in both countries are far from safe, with the State Department warning Americans not to travel to either country. Peter Haramboulos, ABC News.
Yeah, that was Peter Haramboulos. I pronounced his name wrong. So yeah, temporary protected status is a theory that we've had in the United States for some time, which allows the Department of Homeland Security to designate countries as protected. And what it allows them to do is that migrants who are already in the United States with work permits can stay if they're from any of these now 17 countries that have temporary protected status, if the Department of Homeland Security deems that the country of origin would be unsafe to return to. Right now, there are, I think, the Trump has ended that protection with 13 countries. There are still 17 left, I think, and there are 2 countries that are now on the chopping block. That is Haiti and Syria. There are currently some. Haiti has a lot of people here in this country. I think it's something like 350,000, and there are 6,000 Syrians who all have their status in this country at risk because of what's happening at the Supreme Court right now.
Well, and so part of this temporary protected status is just what it sounds like. Like, they are protected from deportation because they came here under extraordinary circumstances. And I think that's probably a legal term, and I don't mean it that way. I just mean, like, a lot of the Haitian immigrants came after the 2010 earthquake that was just absolutely devastating for their country. They still haven't recovered, right? Syria, the Syrians came because of the Syrian civil war that was absolutely brutal and devastating. And so people were coming to a place of safety. And so think about Afghan refugees, right? So when Kabul fell and the Taliban took over, the people who were helping the Americans, those are the Afghanis that needed to leave to be safe. And so they came into this country under temporary protected status. It's a step to get to a green card or more permanent resident status. But what this opens up potentially if they remove this, which is what the president has tried to do via executive order, is you can deport people back to the country that will kill them.
Right. And the United Nations Commission for Refugees has indicated with respect to each country, in Syria, there are 15.6 million Syrians that require assistance, 1.5 million refugees. They've been displaced since the government got upset, and it's really been a mess over there since 2024. They're saying that it would be dangerous to return those people back to the country. In Haiti, it's even worse. They haven't had a president since 2021. There's been a surge of gang violence there. And again, the United Nations has said millions of people in Haiti continue to face a compounding crisis of food insecurity, forced displacement, deadly disease outbreak, and surging violence. So what they're saying is really maybe not the best time to start sending these people back. They should still enjoy some level of protection here in the United States.
Well, and again, if you look at Afghan refugees, which those aren't the two that they're talking about today, but of course the decision that the Supreme Court makes based on today's arguments could apply to multiple TPS holders. But you're talking about, we made promises as a nation that you're safe here, you can come here, we'll provide protection. That's the protected status. We'll provide protection to you, and now we're going back on the promises that we made potentially. So, again, it's another issue where you just are saying, okay, what are we doing here, and why are we doing this? Now, I will say on refugee status, it is different than temporary protected status. It's different than
That's a good point.
Than undocumented. So refugees who come here, they go through a multi-month, usually multi-year process of vetting. Temporary protected status, I understand the argument that can be a little quicker. There is vetting, but it can be done more quickly. But refugees who come here, they are coming under a process that can take years, and including everything from fingerprinting, backgrounds, medical, physical, mental, emotional, biometric scans, everything. And then they get assigned a country where they can go and live. They don't pick. They don't say, hey, send me to the United States. And when you send me to the United States, send me to Utah. They're assigned. And people in refugee camps, they can expect to be there for 20 years before they get out.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I wanted to follow up on something you just mentioned, and that is how it could affect other countries. Here's ABC's Peter Haralambous about that as well.
Wednesday's arguments focus on the temporary protected status for Haitians and Syrians, but TPS holders from other countries say they're watching the case as a bellwether for whether their legal status could be stripped by the Trump administration. Nepali TPS holder Neil Shahi says he fears what a loss might look like for the million-plus people who rely on TPS.
They know where we work. They have everything documented, right? So we are like a low-hanging fruit for them. It's really easy for them to come after us if they really wanted to.
The court is expected to hand down a decision by the end of June. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
And I'll say this, TPS holders they're here legally. That is a legal status for them to be here, right? And so it's another example, I think, of people who are, quote, doing everything the right way. They're here legally. To this soundbite that we just heard, the Nepali TPS holder, he said, look, they know where we work, right? Because they do go to USCIS. They do show up. They're at work. They're paying taxes. They're doing everything the right way. And now they could have their legal status stripped away from them.
Yeah. So we're talking about protected status, and I'm glad you talked about the refugee versus TPS, because I think a lot of people thought that they were the same.
Yeah, they're not.
But we're talking about 350,000 Haitians, 6,000 Syrians. And if the justices agree with the Trump administration, they could strip the protection for up to 1.3 million people total from 17 countries. Haiti is I think the second largest group of citizens who are here. And so this could affect a lot of other people. And really what they're trying to decide is what authority the president should have when Congress has designated that to the Department of Homeland Security. And temporary protected status means just that. It's up to 18 months, and then it's reviewed.
Right.
And then you look at what's happening in the host country and decide, hey, is something changed? We need to do we need to change that? So, wow. We'll follow that when the decision comes out probably sometime this fall. Well, are you feeling burnt out about your commute even before you get to work? Text us at 57500 and tell us about your traffic choke points that wreck your morning commute and what kind of mood it puts you in. We're digging into a national report that says a few Utah travel spots are doing more damage to your day than you might think when we come back.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, the Coal Creek area near Cedar City is popular for camping, but the BLM is now closing the area at night because of a surge in illegal activity. Here is BLM Field Manager Jacqueline Russell.
And it's becoming a hazard, to clean up if there's needles or other paraphernalia on the ground. And we're doing our best to keep up with it, but there's just been quite a bit.
Russell says the area will remain open during the day. The BLM also has partial funding for the construction of a campground, but that likely won't be completed for at least a couple of years. Americans are budgeting as almost everything gets more expensive, and they're pulling back in several areas. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The Wall Street Journal analyzed the latest data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis and found that the reduction in spending across multiple industries doesn't necessarily stem from people struggling. Consumers are pulling back on spending in areas with the most dramatic price increases. Spending on clothing is down 7% in the last few months, but at the same time, the cost of clothing has gone up 9%. And furniture buying was down, but prices went up. The same goes for sporting equipment. When spending was down 6%, those prices up 16%. And data shows that Americans are spending that saved money on traveling. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Supreme Court has struck down Louisiana's second majority black congressional district. It could open the door for Republican-led states to eliminate black and Latino electoral districts that tend to favor Democrats. The decision weakens a landmark voting rights law's protections against discrimination in redistricting. Your money at this moment. The Dow is down 270 points at this hour. We're at 48,871. Coming up, a lot like yesterday, today will be sunny and on the cool side. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
Hi, Flo here to say that Progressive knows that life can change quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, like when I have to take my ex off my policy.
Oh, sorry. But yes, we can do that.
And can you send them a message and tell them that they have trust issues that they need to work on?
We don't really get in the middle of these conflicts.
Also, can you let them know that I was faking interest in his band and it's probably time to grow up?
I'm not going to do it. Just know that with Progressive, you can easily make changes to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Also, I'm staying in touch with his mom because she's absolutely lovely.
Bad idea.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. And back over to you, Cormac.
We are still seeing just a little bit of northbound I-15 delays from the Point of the Mountain to Bangerter Highway. And a caller giving us the details about the southbound delays at the Point of the Mountain. It's debris in the road and really causing some heavy delays as you come to the Point of the Mountain on southbound I-15. So be careful as you come up that hill. You can't see the delays as well as you come up the hill, but it slows down pretty quickly. Otherwise, though, I-15 looking pretty good through Utah and Davis and Weber counties. We do have a crash, though, on southbound I-15 in Davis County. This is in Bountiful near 500 South. They're out of traffic and in the right shoulder, but they do have that right shoulder pretty heavily blocked with some emergency vehicles getting a car out of the embankment onto a tow truck right now as we speak. But otherwise, your roadway is looking pretty good for the beginning of the midday drive. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
It'll be sunny today with a high of 63, about the same tomorrow, 65, 67 on Friday. Then we're back up into the 70s for the weekend. Right now, it's 52 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
We want to hear about your commute, both to and from work, and we want to hear from you on our text line 57500. What do you think about your commute? You know, Holly and I each commute from various parts of the state. I come from Weber County, which is probably one of the hot spots. You come from Utah County, which
another
is
hot spot.
Another hot spot because coming into Salt Lake and out have really caused some problems. Here's KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson with more.
People who commute from Lehigh to Salt Lake City, Saratoga Springs to Provo, and far west to Ogden are more likely to face traffic congestion, road work, and extra time spent getting to and from work. And a new study names those areas as some of the top burnout belts in the country. And it's no surprise that they're also areas with some of the most growth.
I've been watching a growth spurt in population, and that also means more housing, more roads for more drivers.
KSL News Radio traffic reporter Ricky Meese says she's seen these effects over the last 20 years of monitoring traffic, particularly from Lehigh to Salt Lake City. Now, UDOT did do work to open up Mountain View Corridor to alleviate some of the problems, and Ricky says that has been helping, but she still has to report issues in that area on a regular basis. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
So one of those is on your drive.
Yep.
Lehigh to Salt Lake, the three bad
is.
areas, right?
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? I was thinking about it takes me a third of my commute even to get to the highway, and then up from where I join at Point of the Mountain up all the way into downtown Salt Lake. But I have noticed I've started coming in earlier. I was staying home to finish the newsletter and then come in, and then I was hitting a much heavier traffic. Now I come in, I leave the house about 5 a.m. I don't hit a lot of traffic, but it's surprisingly more than I anticipated for 5 o'clock in the morning. But I have to tell you this, my son is dating a girl right now who turned down a job in Salt Lake because she lives out in Saratoga Springs, one of those other areas, the Saratoga Springs to Provo, although Saratoga Springs over to I-15 is just really a hot mess. And she tried the commute a few days and she's like, I can't do it.
Well, yeah, because she's got to go through two of the worst. There are three bad areas, Saratoga Springs to Provo and then Lehigh to Salt Lake. And the other one is far west to Ogden up north, but Saratoga Springs to Salt Lake puts you through
Yeah, so just coming over right from that area, and that has been an issue for a while as that whole west side of Utah Lake is growing. But it was the commute that made her turn down a job that she was pretty interested in.
I understand that. I mean, I go from Ogden Valley to Salt Lake and back every day, of course. It's a long commute. My drive is about 48 miles. And but it's easy for me because I leave my house at 5:30. You know
Right.
what I mean? At 5 whatever. So,
Although you have snow to deal with more than I do.
Well, we have snow up in the valley. It's a problem, but the traffic isn't really a problem. If it snows, the freeway can be a mess, but usually it's not too bad. My problem is that I don't usually leave straight from here. I'll go in the office or run around.
Right.
Then I get myself in trouble if I leave after 5.
Right, for sure. So I used to, when I was having classes at the University of Utah, depending on the time of day, I either hit heavy traffic going in or heavy traffic going home. And so I had to plan on at least an hour and a half one-way commute. But I will say this about some of our listeners. So we do have people who've weighed in, and this is on our Facebook page. But Tess says Layton, especially Fort Lane. Robert says that he lives in Roosevelt, so he doesn't have traffic. True that.
Good for him.
Benjamin says Riverdale Road. Raleigh says the entire stretch of I-15 from Spanish Fork to Ogden. And then Marion says Pioneer Crossing, which is like one of those things from Saratoga Springs over. And then they say that I know it's under construction, but I don't think the flex lanes are going to solve the problem. I mean, it just is getting heavier and heavier, right?
I have to say UDOT did a great job for us when they expanded Highway 89 and Legacy. I mean, there are actually 3 routes going north and south between Salt Lake and Weber County. Yeah. And between the 3 of those, you can always get, especially if your car has a GPS, the route that's the least traveled.
Oh, yeah.
But Highway 89 now, when you get on it here in Farmington area, you can get all the way to Ogden without hitting a light. There are no lights. They took them all out. And it's a great road. And it's just further east than some people may want to go. But for me, it's perfect. It's right on the way. So we really have had UDOT's done a great job in our area. Every once in a while you get an accident, and then it's a problem. But those 3 areas I avoid.
So it's interesting. So the other part of that story is not only, do you get this congestion, but it's the burnout. And so it's part of a national study. And this is, let's see, what is it? It's AM/FM, but in any case, it's about mental health. And one of the things they're saying is it's not just the job that people are getting burned out. They're literally getting burned out on the commute, and they're like, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Yeah, that causes a real problem. I mean, you can always turn your radio to KSL and just listen and dial it back while you're commuting, but it is a problem. And if you're grouchy when you get to the office because of your commute, or if you're rough on the kids when you get home because of the commute, that's understandable, but it means maybe you should change your hours
or something. So, and then everybody does the same thing, right?
Yeah, right.
So listen, you can still text us at 57500 and tell us about your commute and how it impacts you. But I will say this, I do listen to KSL, of course, while I'm driving, but I also listen to podcasts and I listen to books on audio. And I don't listen at regular speed. I listen at time and a half or 1.7, and it allows me to consume content, right, and helps me continue. One of the things that has happened since I did my PhD studies is you can now find a reader for academic articles, which is like, I really wished I had that when I was doing those long commutes.
This will sound kind of weird, but my solution to bad commutes is a good car.
Oh,
I mean, if you're in a comfortable car with a good sound system, it makes all the difference in the world. And I tell you, I've always had stick shifts. When you're in bad traffic, a stick shift is a pain.
I think that's miserable because I've driven a stick before.
Always in and out of the clutch. Or if you have a car, I don't know, and I have a truck, but every once in a while you're in the truck, it's just a little bit of a rough ride, a little bit of a noisy ride.
Yeah.
My sedan is great. It's very comfortable, very quiet. And I love I don't mind sitting in it for any period of time. Although if the problem you have is if you're anxious to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Or you for me, getting home for dinner, you just want to get home at a certain time, and then it upsets you if you're really late.
I find driving makes me sleepy. So that's one of the issues too, right? Yeah. And I do well listening to things. I know some people can't really they can't pay attention enough to audiobooks or whatever, but I do like it that way. It helps me stay awake, but I also snack in the car, which is not the best.
It does seem, though, and maybe it's just me being more conscious of it, that you get more impolite motorists today
when
than
the
we
traffic.
used to.
Oh
Right,
yeah. That's
I
true
see
too.
more nasty motorists than
Well,
my commute.
road rage is higher, I think, during, and I haven't seen a study on it, but I'm sure it's higher during heavy traffic times rather than no traffic times.
Right.
All right. Here's something else that's fun and funny. So we know that this is America 250 coming up on that anniversary, and there is a new limited edition U.S. passport coming for that birthday, and they're going to have President Trump's face on them. So it's another example of the president becoming the unofficial mascot of, well, everything. And Utah is coming out with special license plates. So we're going to talk about both of those when we come back.
It's spring. You get outside and it's obvious your house needs painting. Make an appointment with CertaPro Painters. They'll give you a free estimate quickly and at the right price. And they make the entire process easy with reliable updates and communication. They know how important your home is to you. True professionals, they're committed to quality and exceptional service at the right price. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
You trust us for news and information in your car. Now trust us at home. KSL News Radio has you covered, keeping you informed on the latest breaking news, weather, traffic, sports, and more. Listen on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. Just say, Alexa, open KSL News Radio. Or listen on the KSL News Radio Listen app. Text the word app to 57500. KSL News Radio. We have you covered.
A mother's love doesn't always look the same. It's in the woman who raised you, the one who chose you, the one who stepped in when you needed it most. It's in grandmothers, sisters, mentors, and the women who show up again and again with love, strength, and grace. This Mother's Day, Duke's Jewelers celebrates all of them. At Duke's Jewelers, they believe women who shape our lives deserve something just as meaningful as the love they give. Something timeless, personal, and filled with heart. From classic diamonds to one-of-a-kind designs, every piece is chosen to honor her story and yours. A piece she'll wear every day and think of you. Join Duke's Jewelers this Mother's Day and enjoy a complimentary rose with any jewelry purchase while supplies last. Because every kind of mom deserves to feel seen, celebrated, and loved. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville and at dukesjewelers.com.
911, tell me exactly what happened. My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
And I said, Josh, where are you? You need to get home.
And her husband will never be held accountable.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but
and you want to think about it for a couple of days?
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
I'm Dave Cawley, host of the podcast Cold.
Then he starts making phone calls to Susan's phone.
Hello, Susan. We are on our way back.
It's the deepest of deep dives into this tragic tale of abuse.
Where was Josh when Susan disappeared?
I don't know. Of one mother's desperate attempt to escape.
This is me, covering all my bases.
Help prevent it from happening again.
Our focus has and continues to be finding Susan.
Listen and learn by following Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
I'm Christian Staples with Arctic Spas. Spring is here, and that means pool time is here. No one makes it easier to have a pool in your backyard than Arctic Spas. We just need 2 days, and you can swim for exercise or enjoy family fun. Arctic Spa's all-weather pools continue to be fun all year round versus a regular pool which you can only use during the summer. We make it easy with maintenance-free filters, automatic natural salt water, and automatic pH control. No one wants to spend their time taking care of their pool. We just want to enjoy it. And that is what Water Care Automation is all about. If you're looking for a pool that is easy to install, easy to maintain, easy on the wallet, and you can use it year-round, look no further than Arctic Spa's all-weather pools. For more information, check us out at arcticspasutah.com or one of our 3 stores covering all of Utah in Salt Lake, American Fork, and St. George. Arctic Spa, the only spa built for Utah's harsh climate.
The new Inside Sources.
Well, the State Department is rolling out a limited edition U.S. passport design featuring President Donald Trump's face on the inside cover and other images to celebrate the country's 250th anniversary of independence. Previews of the commemorative passport showed Trump's portrait overlaid on the Declaration of Independence on the inside cover with his signature in gold, of course, as well as a page with the image of the Founding Fathers signing the Declaration of Independence. And there's a picture of it here on this site. You open up the passport and there's Donald Trump's face, and I think it's the back cover has the Founding Fathers signing the Declaration of Independence. I don't know if this is going to be the
I am
passport.
trying not to laugh, but come on. So if you want a commemorative passport with President Trump's face, they will become available in July, but they're in Washington. They're available at the Washington Passport Office for a limited time. You don't get to choose whether you get that or not if you're getting it in person there in Washington, D.C. However, if you need to renew your passport before that, you can still do it online. You can still do it here locally. But it is interesting. And remember, a U.S. passport for an adult, it lasts for 10 years.
Yeah.
So you will memorialize the president's face in your passport for a decade.
I mean, I hate to say this, but I think those could be of some value in the future as a collector's item.
Yeah,
seriously. People
sure.
collect certain things, and that may be one that, because it is a limited edition, 20, 30 years from now, may be worth some money. I'm not suggesting people go get them for that reason, but it's just the type of thing that collectors will want in the future.
I think it's interesting on a number of levels. One is we don't usually see living presidents' images on anything, not on coins, not on passports, not on money, dollar bills, right? And so the president is really kind of shaking up those norms, but
he's really trying to establish a legacy while he's living. You're right. Usually presidents don't get on the dollar bill, 5, 10, whatever, until they're deceased. He's trying to get on one now. He's also trying to get one of the new carrier named after him. They have
a ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, a Navy ship.
Yeah. The SS Trump or something like that. So, I mean, he's trying to establish his legacy so that when he passes on, there'll still be people reading and talking about him and seeing his likeness as much as possible.
So one of the things about America 250 is there are just a lot of different types of things going on. So that's one. And then, of course, there's supposed to be like a big wrestling match on the White House lawn somewhere around the 4th of July. But there's things on the state level as well. And I didn't know about this story really until I learned about it from KSL yesterday.
What's that?
It's that we are going to have a state license plate, and it looks really pretty, but a state license plate to celebrate 250 years of America.
The official look and design of the plate was unveiled by the Utah Design Review Board yesterday. On the left side is an image of the original flag with 13 stars encircling 1776, all against a navy blue background. The bottom of the plate says America 250.
We did show this to limited people to get feedback, and this was a design that we got a lot of feedback on, that we had a lot of public support for.
That was Senator Daniel McKay, who's a part of the review board. He says if you look at the plate closely, you'll see that the flag is embroidered and the stars look hand-stitched, as a nod to how the flags were first made. The plate is available starting June 1st. McKenna Rodriguez, KSL News Radio.
Holly found one, and it's actually kind of pretty. I wonder if it's the one that can you opt in or pay a little extra for?
Yeah.
Or do you know what the story
it's one
is
of the
with
specialty plates. Yeah, so
I kind of like it.
It is. It's pretty.
It's
so
blue background
it's
too.
It's very blue. Yep, it has 1776, that original, I don't think the flag actually had 1776 on it, but it has the circle of stars and then 1776 in the middle. So I do think it's really pretty. You know that there's so many different kinds of license plates in the state of Utah. I have all black, and then I customized it to say Inside Sources, although I took out all the vowels because I'm only allowed 7 letters. And people are like, I don't understand what that plate says. In fact, my brother says to me, does that say narcissist? I'm like, no. It says Inside Sources. So when my time is done at this job, I have to get new license plates.
No, you got to keep it to remember this. So, but you had to pay extra for that, right?
Yes, I had to pay extra.
I love the black plates, but you have to pay for them.
Yes,
extra.
Yeah. So the design, this special America 250 will be available for a little bit over a year. It will start June 1st of this year. It will no longer be offered after July 31st of 2027. So you can request them while you're renewing your registration or at any time beginning June 1st at the DMV's website, dmv.utah.gov. That's GOV. You can personalize it. But actually, you can't. But USA 250 is not available. Actually, those letters, those words. So there are 11 other states that have introduced America 250 license plates, but I'm pretty sure they're not as cool as ours.
What I like about it, I love the black plates. I really do.
Yeah.
I like the dark. This has a very dark blue background.
It does.
It's
very
so
pretty.
I think it's a really pretty plate. I think the white ones are a little less attractive.
So I've had other plates as well, and I had the first to vote because Utah was the first state in the United States to have women allowed to vote. So for a long time, I had the first to vote as soon as they became available. But it doesn't allow me 7 letters, and so I needed to have something that would give me 7 letters.
I actually had a car that qualified for what they call antique plates.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
An old car it was fun, and they asked you if you wanted special numbers or letters or something, and everything I tried for it was taken, so I just got whatever was left in the queue.
That's funny. So there are as we're getting closer to the summer, the weather makes it hard for me to feel like it's summer, right? Because I had to scrape my windows yesterday. But remember, we've talked about it on our show several times that Utah has its own America 250, and it's america250.utah.gov. And one of the things that they're doing is like this 250 mile walk or something that I can't do. So there's just lots of ways to celebrate. Get a passport with the president's face on it, get a new license plate, take a walk, take a bike ride.
This summer is really going to be interesting with the 250 years since 1776 and what we're doing. I think there's going to be a lot going on. I hope there's a lot going on here in Utah. With that, the 4th of July this year will probably be as big as it's ever been.
It's a Saturday, too, so it's going to be
perfect.
Just huge.
Yeah. And these things are fun. We teased about the passport thing, but it's cute. I don't know. I wouldn't get one necessarily. I think that if I was getting a car and I was getting new plates, I would strongly consider the Utah 250 plate. That's another thing that'll be fun to have down the road.
Oh, yeah. Even if you only have it for a year, right? Then you can put it on your wall. That's cool. Let me ask you this. We have just a little bit of time left. Do you remember the sesquicentennial? I think that's the way you say it. The 200
or 200 year.
Okay,
right,
so
yes.
bicentennial. My bad. Bicentennial.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
1976.
Right, yeah.
I remember, I was a young tween. I wasn't quite a teenager yet, but close. And I just remember, it was such a big deal. We were living in Colorado Springs at the time. My dad was teaching at the Air Force Academy. And the only thing I really remember from the 4th of July celebration that year is that one of the fireworks went astray, landed back on the big pile of fireworks and sent the whole thing up. So it was a very, very short show, but people thought that was a really awesome finale because everything went up all at one time.
Everybody was running. I was 1976 was my first year of college. I graduated from high school in 75, and now that you mention it, there was the bicentennial. I remember the bicentennial, but I don't remember anything specific about it. I was starting college, so I guess I had other things to worry about. But yeah,
yeah, interesting. And I remember there was a whole effort to do dressing up as
Uncle Sam?
No, colonial, but
Right, yeah,
like the
right.
dresses and the hats. And I remember loving Williamsburg. We didn't go in 76, but I've visited Williamsburg a number of times. So anyway, just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's looking forward to a fun summer and a lot going on. Speaking of summer,
we're in bad shape.
Yeah, we're in
a lot of
bad
ways.
shape
Yeah.
for water, and a lot of Utah cities are rolling out new ways to save water. The state's facing a severe drought. It may be more than just a severe drought, raising water rates to help people not use as much water, swapping out other materials for grass. We'll talk about some changes that could impact your neighborhood. And this is something that's going to be huge in the state this year. People just absolutely need to save water because we did not get the snow. We'll be right back.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour, a Uinta County volunteer firefighter is recovering weeks after getting severely burned while fighting a wildfire. Kyle Allred tells KSL the fire was just outside of Roosevelt and he was running to get into position when the wind changed and he slipped and fell. His lower half caught on fire and for a moment he thought he wouldn't be able to get back up.
The thought that God put in my mind was get home to your wife and kids. I pushed off the ground. And it was divine help that got me up on my feet and to the guardrail.
He spent 23 days at the University of Utah Burn Center where he had 2 skin graft surgeries. He says the experience reminded him of what is really important in life. A judge has ordered a man to serve 4 years of probation after chasing a boy who doorbell ditched his home. Salt Lake City police say Tony Arnold Burnstone chased down the 12-year-old and held him until his parents arrived. Burnstone has also been ordered to self-deport to New Zealand. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, we're seeing a surge in the number of new homes being built.
Construction was begun on more than 1.5 million residences in March, including over 1 million single-family homes. That's a 10.8% increase over February and over March of last year. The Census Bureau says it was the strongest showing for housing starts since December of 2024.
ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. Your money at this moment, oil is up to $105 a barrel and the markets are down. The Dow right now down 338 points. We're at 48,803. Coming up, partly cloudy with a possible stray shower today. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. You know, the big wireless companies say they have discounts for people over 55. But unless you're willing to sit on hold and ask, you're probably paying more than you should. At Consumer Cellular, there's nothing to hunt down. We're built for people 50 plus with plans starting at just $20. And our 100% US-based customer service actually answers the phone. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today and get your second month free for a limited time.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167.
Is the volatility of the stock market driving you crazy? Is your retirement account sinking, yet you're getting older? And you're starting to worry about, will I have enough for retirement? What about the money in the bank? These banks pay nothing these days. How do we get growth to get to retirement account? It's simple. Move into gold and silver. Want to know how to do it? Listen to my show, Striking Gold with me, Kenny Michaels.
Now on Saturday at 5 p.m. Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU, love where you bank. And here's Cormac Bone.
Right now, Highway Patrol doing a controlled slowdown on South 15, and that's why we have some very heavy delays from the I-8201 interchange down into Murray. It looks like they're at a stop right now. Emergency vehicles are out doing some road maintenance with these changing temperatures, making sure the bridges are safe to drive on. So that's why you have some very heavy traffic southbound I-15 going into Murray. Otherwise, your drive on I-15 in Utah, Davis, and Weber County is looking very good. A little bit of southbound I-15 delays at the point of the mountain, and there's been a number of crashes and some debris in the road there this morning, so the residual delays still working their way out there. With nutrients blended for greener, healthier turf in our local soil, IFA's 4+ Lawn Care program is the ultimate lawn owner power move. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
We should stay in the 60s for the next 3 days with a chance of a pop-up shower each day, but the weekend looks beautiful. Sunshine and the highs in the upper 70s. Right now it's 52 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon. Broadcasting live from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, it's 50 degrees and sunny outside, and the last couple of days have been cool and wet, but don't forget, Utah is in the midst of a severe drought, and this summer is going to be awful. And a lot of cities are trying to find out ways, Holly, to conserve water and telling their residents what to do in ways to conserve water.
You know, the news is pretty bad. So I want to point out that this, in fact, when I told you this, you're like, that can't be true, but it is true. The Great Salt Lake has already reached its peak height for the year after the state's warmest winter on record. And that is according to Joel Ferry. He's the executive director of the Utah Department of Natural Resources. So even though the water year doesn't end until October, Ferry said the lake likely peaked earlier this month, a foot below last year's high point around the same time. Not good.
That's right. I can't imagine that to be true. I mean, Joel Ferry's obviously honest, but I mean, we don't have any more winter runoff coming. You would think that there's still something. I mean, I know we didn't get a lot of snow, but there's still some snow, and we got a little bit of snow this last week.
There's very little, and in fact, they're calling it, instead of calling it a snowpack, they're calling it no pack.
Yeah.
And the state engineer, her name is Teresa Wilhelmsen. She administers water rights in Utah, and it's a seniority thing. But those with the newest water rights are first to see their allocations cut in dry years, and that's already happening. And she's saying this is not good at all. In fact, one of the cities we're going to talk about. Multiple, but one of the cities is Emery. It's a really tiny, but they cut off secondary water, which is what people usually use for their lawns and their home gardens. And they told their residents you cannot use culinary water to use anything outside. And so it's impacting people who are trying to grow their own food, trying to raise animals. Like they don't even have enough water for their animals.
Yeah, in some areas they don't even turn on the municipal water until later on to prevent people from doing that. So right now in April, I'm just saying, at least along the Wasatch Front, I don't know, maybe the rules are different in southern Utah where it's warmer. you should not be watering your lawn yet. And most authorities were telling us, don't water your lawn until at least May. In fact,
the middle of May.
Our area, people said don't water your lawn until June.
Yeah.
And which, of course, we're up in the Ogden Valley, which is a higher elevation, more like Park City, some of those areas. So, I don't intend to turn the water on for at least another month.
So we have in our area, we have secondary water that's not supposed to be turned on until May 1st, although really the state is please asking people to not start using secondary water till the middle of May. But I'm driving around and I'm seeing people already doing it.
Yeah, well, you talked about what some cities are doing. Midvale, a city, has decided that instead of enforcing conservation, they will use a temporary bump in water fees to encourage residents to cut back. And here's KSL TV's Garna Mejia with more on that.
We're encouraging people to conserve water as much as they can.
Amid severe drought across the state, Midvale City is hoping to save water with a temporary price increase. Mayor Dustin Gettle says that instead of enforcement to limit water use, they want to give residents a choice, albeit with the cost.
This is one fee that you have control over. Like, if you don't want to see your bill increase, then we welcome and we encourage you to use less water.
The move comes in response to the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District's latest water supply designation of Level 2, severe. For an idea of what to expect, Mayor Gettle showed us his own water bill. He says starting May 1, there will be a 25% drought surcharge on tiered water usage. This means the added fee only impacts this figure right here.
Being charged $1.95 per 1,000 gallons will now be charged $2.44 per 1,000.
So he expects his bill to increase by about $3, but for others,
the big jump is going to be those who are watering their lawns, doing outdoor watering, 5 to 7 days.
Mayor Gettle says the goal is to get residents to lower their water usage by 10%.
No one likes to see a bill be higher than they're used to. I don't like it, but I understand the importance during this level 2 severe drought that we're in, that we need to band together, help each other out.
I have to say the most effective way to get people to conserve water is to charge them more for water. And that's going to hit people.
Sometimes.
And make them, but I mean, maybe some people just figure they've got money, they'll just spend it. But, it used to be you want to have the prettiest lawn in the neighborhood. Now I almost think that's a curse, because it shows that you're not taking care of your water situation. But we also need to do this. We talked about this before. We need to encourage HOAs and municipalities to allow residents, homeowners, to replace their lawn with either rocks or something like that, low water, low maintenance, and not worry about the aesthetics, because you can still make it pretty. You can still do things with bark. You can still do things with some plants that don't take a lot of water, but get away from grass, at least in some areas of your yard.
So we always get a couple of comments that are very similar to the one that we just got. Drive by the golf courses and see that they have been watering for weeks. Do as I say, not as I do. And the other comment we typically get when we talk about water conservation is what you just mentioned with HOAs and cities, people who have tried to be water wise, and what they end up doing is they get a citation. They'll get a citation from the city or from the HOA or saying, you're supposed to have a certain amount of grass and you don't have that grass. You have rocks or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, that's got to stop. I mean, I think the cities need to jump in, or the counties, and say, hey, you cannot punish people for saving water.
It's extraordinarily not good right now. Let me tell you of a couple of websites that people can go to. slowtheflow.org. Right. Of course, they have plenty of information there. There's also one by the government, conservewater.utah.gov, and telling you different ways to conserve. Right. And again, we're talking about way below average snowpack, so much so that they're calling it the no-pack year. And then that we've already peaked in the Great Salt Lake. So, there's a little bit in the mountains of snow that will melt, but there's not a lot.
Well, and I don't want to be a downer here because it's already bad enough, but this is the way of the future, folks. I mean, Utah is in a drought. The environment, the planet is warming, whether you like it or not. I mean, and we are not going to have those kind of years. We will once in a while, but the big snowpack years that we've had, even fairly recently, are going to be fewer and fewer and further in between. We're just not going to have that anymore. And so what concerns me, again, I keep going back to the Great Salt Lake when you say it's already reached its peak, is that we kept hearing about all these groups that had donated their water shares to the lake.
Yeah.
So I would have thought it's going to be, at least this year,
and President Trump has appropriated
$1 billion.
Has asked for, because he's not the appropriator, the Congress is, but asked for $1 billion for the Great Salt Lake.
Right.
But right now, we're kind of in a world of hurt.
Yeah, and you can't buy rain. Maybe they'll find a way to do that, but you can't purchase. But you can purchase water shares, and I'll tell you, it's cyclical. But if the Great Salt Lake doesn't have water, we're not going to get snow in the mountains. And if you don't get snow in the mountains, you don't get water in the Great Salt Lake. We have to really focus on that.
I will say this really briefly: is there's some really interesting information from a Utah company. I think the name is actually Rainmaker, and they have drones. They say that they have done tests that show that they can do cloud seeding with the drones that actually work, and so maybe that's something in the future. Okay, we're going to pivot to Taylor Swift because I know that is your favorite topic. She's actually been in the news a couple of times recently. She's taken a new step to protect herself from artificial intelligence, filing for trademarks for her own voice, right? So that AI can't do stuff with her voice. And a man overseas just pled guilty to a plot that was targeting her in one of her Eras Tour concerts in Vienna. We'll talk with our resident expert when we come back.
So I have to say, 16 pounds in 21 days. That's right. I've been on the soda weight loss diet for 3 weeks today, and it's my Wednesday checkup. Every Wednesday morning, I take a picture of myself on the scale. Actually, I take a picture of the number on the scale to show what I weigh, and I was happy to report that I have now lost 16 pounds since I started 3 weeks ago today. Not everyone will get these results, but I did, and I've enjoyed it. I did decide I needed to lose some weight. 16 is not the end. I'm over the halfway part. Let me just put it that way. And I expect to get to the end because of what I'm doing with Soda. Soda Diet and Nutrition, SOTA, dietandnutrition.com. I contacted them and I said, you've got to do something that I cannot do. And what they've done in 3 weeks, by the way, is more than I could do in 8 years with the weight loss. I said, I don't want to take pills. I don't want injections. They said, we'll just change your diet. We'll just change what you do. And it's worked out really well. We've changed our diet. We're eating different. We're eating more healthy. Soda, Diet, and Nutrition has worked for me. It'll work for you. Join us for a short time to have results that will last a lifetime.
If you're ready to buy a home or sell a home and you're worried about the current real estate market because of what you've heard from some of your friends or family, well, we're here to tell you that you really shouldn't be worried because now is a great time to buy and sell with our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Omada Real Estate.
And here's why. Buyers have more options due to increased inventory, which gives them the power to negotiate for repairs, interest rate buy-downs, and closing cost assistance. While at the same time, sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes, with home values that are higher today than ever before. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, the current real estate market presents a win-win opportunity for both buyers and sellers.
But you still do want to make sure that you're working with a team of real estate experts you can trust that can get you some great results. And that's our friends at the Stern Team, powered by Omada Real Estate.
They have helped thousands of Salt Lake City homeowners, and they're ready to help you. To get started, just go to thesternteam.com. That's thesternteam.com, or Google The Stern Team.
If your water heater's over 10 to 15 years old, congratulations. You've beat the average. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and I love hearing stories of people having water heaters that are really old and they're still doing their job. Unfortunately, most of us won't be that lucky. And when water heaters fail, it's usually in spectacularly inconvenient fashion. Whether it's an unexpected cold shower when we're already running late for work, or worse yet, coming home to a flooded basement, it's never fun. If you'd like to look into replacing your water heater before it fails, Any Hour Services is having a sale for any homeowners listening. Whether you're looking for a new tanked water heater or you want to see what upgrading to a tankless would cost, the plumbers at Any Hour Services can show you what options are available. And right now, you can save $400 on a tanked water heater or $1,200 on a tankless. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services today and schedule your free estimate. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
The ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
A place where survival,
it's dark now, I have nothing,
is never certain. In 2011, an Australian hiker vanished.
Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard.
The mountains have decided to keep him.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts.
check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Support comes from Amazon Business. You can't rely on guesswork to run your business. With Smart Business Buying, innovative AI tools optimize your purchasing experience, paired with delivery options built for business. Empower your team today. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency?
Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son and they're demanding $500,000.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Inside Sources.
So Taylor Swift is in the news a couple of times this week, but she is making a move to protect herself in a fast-growing world of AI. What's super interesting is she has filed trademark applications to protect her voice from AI.
Yeah, here's ABC's Hannah Battah with more.
Swift filing 3 new trademark applications, 2 for her voice, particularly these phrases.
Hey, it's Taylor Swift. Hey, it's Taylor.
The move will make it easier for her lawyers to take down AI copycats.
By filing a trademark application that contains her voice, Taylor's lawyers could then make claims that anything that sounds like her voice is a violation of her trademark rights.
Swift's likeness has already been used without permission for numerous AI fakes, including on Meta's AI chatbot. Pornographic AI images of Swift circulated on X back in 2024. The platform removing them after public outcry. Later that year, then-candidate Donald Trump shared AI-generated images of Swift inaccurately suggesting she had endorsed him.
That seems to be a problem.
Where it crosses the line. I mean, you know, and I understand people like Taylor Swift, they're in the public light and they're making money off their likeness, off their voice, off their persona, and they're entitled to that because they've earned that. And so when somebody just comes in and says, hey, I'm Taylor, you know, buy this toothpaste.
Exactly.
Do this.
Exactly.
They're purporting to be her, using that catchphrase, and I don't know whether our guest will help us with this. Hey, I'm Taylor is something that you would hear, but yeah, it comes to the point where, and it's sad that you have to do that, but her attorneys have said, well, we're just going to trademark those particular phrases and other things, you know, her voice, so that people don't poach that and use that to get money for their own products.
All right, well, let's ask our expert, Caitlin Josden. Hey, so you're a lot more in the Swiftie universe than we are.
Yes.
What are people saying about this move to protect her voice?
I think people support it. I kind of have some questions, honestly, for Greg about how far this protection could actually go. But for what you guys were just kind of referencing, like the hey, it's Taylor, and that, it is very common. She starts her videos online with that pretty often. And so I think this is a smart move because, as you mentioned, she's very influential, and AI is getting scary. Like, I don't trust a lot of the stuff I have seen. I remember with President Biden, there was some AI deepfake with his voice that sounded exactly like him.
Yeah.
And so that type of influence is just scary because you see things, then you just have to double check everything and you just don't know if it's real. So if this can make any sort of effort to help that, I think that's great. But my question for Greg is how, like, when it comes to this protection, if this trademark gets approved, I guess it still has a process to go through. How similar does it have to be if some AI deepfake was saying, hey, it's Taylor, and it's like, how does that work? Does that make sense with what I'm asking? Like, how far does it go?
Well, I think that you just think of what's reasonable. What would be the reasonable person's, if they heard my voice, hey, it's Taylor, that's one thing, you know what I mean? But yours, maybe you sound a little bit like her. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, what would a reasonable person think when they're listening to this? If they think that that's Taylor Swift, or they know very well that it's not. And then once you've trademarked it, you can actually have the image or the voice removed. If some company puts that on, you can file and have that taken down. You can sue for damages. If, for example, they made money off of that likeness, that voice, you can sue them for the money that they've made or for the money that you, as Taylor Swift, didn't make because someone was using your likeness. So, and I think that usually in situations like this, her lawyers are going to be very aggressive once they get these trademarks in place, and they're going to be sending letters out immediately and saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, and then just attacking people immediately, because that's the way you enforce a trademark, is to make sure that you're enforcing the trademark. Because once you let it out, let's say you have a trademark, hey, it's Taylor, and people start using that, and you're like, okay, it'll stop. Then you've let it into the marketplace. Then you sort of acquiesced. So you have to jump on it quickly and say, no, this is not going to happen.
She must have some strong lawyers. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that's what happened with Kleenex, right? Is it became generic, right? It's technically a brand name, but now we use it to mean tissues, right? Because they didn't jump on the trademark stuff. Yeah, it's just interesting. And one of the things that's also interesting is she's not the only celebrity to pursue these kinds of trademarks. So this is from the Associated Press article talking about her trademark filings. But Matthew McConaughey secured 8 trademarks already, including a sound trademark of his catchphrase, all right, right?
Which well deserved.
So, but here's an interesting twist. He made a deal with a voice cloning company that will allow its artificial intelligence to replicate his voice. So he has done, like he wrote a book and read his own book, but now he's saying, I actually am giving permission for an AI company to clone my voice and be able to use it. But that, boy, it feels so murky in the world of AI.
Yeah, I was just gonna say with that, I think Taylor Swift is one very protective of her work, and she does. We've seen this with wanting to own her album, her art, her records. Yeah. So I think that this is why she's always been kind of a front runner with some of this kind of stuff. Not saying that she's the first one to have done this, but I think that when she does this, is going to signal to other people, oh, I need to think about this. And even just my mind always goes back to this. You guys are on the air. My voice is being used right now to be broadcast to everybody. We have social media influencers. This is just it's just the wild, wild west out there with AI, and I just don't know how far it's going to go. And I wonder if this type of thing will actually deter people from trying to create AI deepfakes of people like Taylor Swift. I don't know if they will, because people like to mislead people, but I wonder.
Have you seen AI images of her?
I saw the President Trump. Yes, I see them all the time.
How compelling are they? I mean,
I can usually tell when it's AI still a little bit with her, because the only pictures we get of her are from her official Instagram or her website, or it's a paparazzi photo on the street, and I can tell that it's her. Other than that, I'm kind of like, that's fake.
But I think it's getting harder and harder to tell. So you already mentioned politics. It's just I think it's harder and harder, and I think as we get through this next election cycle, we're going to see a lot of AI. We're going to see a lot of voice cloning, or just AI creating a person saying something where it looks legitimate, and then you have to draw it down. But one of the things that happens is those types of messages go viral.
Yep.
And when you say, oh, my bad, that was AI, that just doesn't go nearly as far as the original message.
No, and it's just concerning because, you have, people who just look at the soundbite, they think it's real, and that's that.
Yeah, exactly.
But my message, I guess, with this is double check, triple check everything, and don't believe everything on social media. Because, I've been fooled recently.
Oh, me too.
But, good for her for doing this. That's all I will say.
I've even heard of situations where AI created a song purporting to be from a particular artist.
Yeah, AI can create music.
And
Fortnite was, Taylor Swift, this happened to Taylor Swift before her album was released. AI created a song. We all thought it might have been real, but it turned out not even to be close to what the actual song was.
Okay, so yes. I do have a question for you about other Taylor Swift news, and this is about her concert in Vienna. So tell us about that guy.
Well, so I think this was a 21-year-old. He pled guilty. He was one of the people arrested. I might need to lean on Greg a little bit for the details on that. But he pled guilty in this terrorism plot in Vienna that canceled, I think, 3 of her shows. Basically, it could have been a mass casualty event, right? And this just, in generally speaking, I remember when this happened. I was somebody who watched every single Eras tour on the weekends because it was so much fun. And this got canceled, and there were people from Utah who flew out to Vienna for this, and people were really shooken by this.
Yeah,
shaken up, I guess is how I should have said that.
Yeah, that's a criminal case. We're talking about more of the civil things, but you're right. They were plotting like an ISIS-linked terror attack.
Yeah.
It was nearly 2 years ago. His trial was set to begin at Tuesday, but he pled guilty. He resolved the case and pled guilty, probably assuming he was going to be found guilty. But this can be an incredibly serious consequence.
And there was we're almost out of time. Okay, so one last quick question. What's her wedding date?
Okay, pivoting from the terrorism. We don't know for sure, and I don't want to pry, but there's rumors of July. I feel like it's none of my business, but one interesting thing, just because she is protective of herself, that I heard she did, she sent out save the dates with watermarks of the person's name who received the invitation. So if someone were to take a picture and spread that, they'd know who it was. This is what I heard, and it's something I totally think she would do. But we hear July 3rd. I don't care because I'm not invited, and I don't want people to crash her wedding. So we'll see.
That would be funny if she did it on July 4th. Okay, so speaking of celebrities, King Charles attended a state dinner at the White House last night. He also addressed Congress. Some of his comments about ballroom renovations are, I think, funny and making the rounds online. We're going to talk about King Charles and Queen Camilla when we come back.
10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, the war in Iran is driving fuel costs up again. Going.com spokesperson Katie Nastro says some Americans are adjusting their summer plans, but not ditching vacations altogether.
Now with higher fuel costs, and then also this impending potential for a jet fuel shortage, making travelers a little bit weary of taking these big ticket trips, specifically to Europe or over to Asia.
Nastro says demand for travel in the U.S. is still strong, especially for the summertime. She says airfare won't be lower anytime soon, so her best advice is to not wait to book flights. A man was arrested and shot with a foam bullet in Kearns. It happened last night when the Unified Police Department tried to serve a warrant and SWAT members got involved. Police say the man was not injured and was booked into the Salt Lake County Jail. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The Supreme Court issued several rulings this morning, including one striking down a new district in Louisiana, saying it was too racially influenced. The court is also hearing arguments about the cancellation of Haitian and Syrian immigrants' protected status.
The outcome of the argument will directly affect the future of roughly 350,000 Haitians and about 6,000 Syrians who rely on temporary protected status. The Trump administration has argued the immigrants were never intended to be permanent residents, and that the conditions on the ground in both countries are sufficiently safe for them to return home. But lawyers for the immigrants argue the conditions in both countries are far from safe, with the State Department warning Americans not to travel to either country. Peter Haralambous, ABC News.
Your money at this moment, let's see, oil is up to $106.66 a barrel. That's up about $3.50 since earlier this morning. The Dow is down 320. We're at 48,821. Coming up, temperatures in the 60s today, the 70s this weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 10:32. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Come see what all the buzz is about at Utah's oldest Volkswagen dealer, Strong Volkswagen. New Jetta are just $158 a month during Volkswagen Driver Days. At Strong Volkswagen, lease new 2026 Jetta S just $158 a month. $158. Even new Tiguan, $233 a month. $233. And the roomy, family-ready Atlas, just $350 a month. Atlas comes standard with heated seats, heated steering wheel, keyless start, and third-row seating. They're selling fast with 0% financing for 60 months. And you get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime, no charge. Make a beeline for German engineering and a new lineup that's creating all the buzz. New Jetta, $158 a month. New Tiguan, $233 a month during Volkswagen Driver Days at Strong. Strong Volkswagen, driven by transparency, built on family, powered by people who care. For over 70 years, Strong Volkswagen, located downtown. StrongVW.com. StrongVW.com. For details, call 801-596-2200.
Everything to my back is dark.
High in the alpine wilderness.
Really ugly clouds coming over from the north.
a place
The ridgeline is imposing, the escarpments, the drops.
where survival
It's dark now. I have nothing.
is never certain.
This is not good.
My name's Dave Cawley, and I'm the host of a podcast called Uinta Triangle. It's about the disappearance of an Australian hiker named Eric.
Our conclusion and that of the sheriff is that the mountains have decided to keep him.
Come retrace Eric's footprints with me.
You have done this walk too, but this is your backyard. Did he really make a wrong turn, or did he decide that he was done?
He is not the first or last person to vanish in this remote region.
It was haunting to see the photos. I mean, really.
Find and follow the podcast series Uinta Triangle. That's Uinta, spelled U-I-N-T-A, Triangle, wherever you get your podcasts. All episodes out now.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. And here's Cormac Bone.
Well, we do have a crash eastbound on I-80 approaching I-215 in that construction zone. It looks like they are blocking a right shoulder there behind the construction barrels, and it's causing a little bit of delay as you approach the I-215, I-80 interchange there by the airport. We also have a crash on northbound I-15 just before 5300 South. They're also out of traffic in that right shoulder, but they are causing some light delays at the south interchange. Otherwise, your roadway is looking really good for the midday drive. I don't see any delays on I-15 through Utah, Weber, or Davis counties. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness. Cormac Bone in the KSL Traffic Center.
Salt Lake City should see a high of 63 today, 65 tomorrow, 67 on Friday. Then we're in the 70s for the weekend, 78 on Sunday. Right now it's 52 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So, it's a little bit funny that we have the King of England visiting the United States, talking about things like the Magna Carta. But I want to say this. I saw some funny guy online before King Charles made it to the back over to the United States, and saying, he's saying, here's what the king is going to say. And then he quotes from Hamilton, the musical, "You'll be back," right? And anyway, so he quoted from that song. So actually, he did attend, King Charles and Queen Camilla did attend a state dinner at the White House last night. Some of the king's comments about the ballroom renovations I found amusing. He did not call the president out by name, but he did kind of poke fun at himself.
Yeah, here's the moment that some people online pointed at as a roast of the president's White House renovations.
It is a particular pleasure to be back in this wonderful building, the heart of your democracy. On this occasion, I cannot help noticing the readjustments to the East Wing, Mr. President, following your visit to Windsor Castle last year. And I'm sorry to say that we British, of course, made our own small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House in 1814.
So that is a reference to when the British set the White House on fire.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought that was funny. Look, this is his first official visit as the king. He has been a few times when he was Prince Charles. But here are some moments from his speech in front of Congress earlier in the day.
The U.S. Supreme Court Historical Society has calculated that Magna Carta is cited in at least 160 Supreme Court cases since 1789, not least as the foundation of the principle that executive power is subject to checks and balances.
And I think the Magna Carta is really cited a lot, Holly, as one of the first documents in the world's history.
And I think it's particularly telling that the king said the Magna Carta has checks and balances on executive power. I mean, I think that's pretty pointed.
Yeah, that executive power is subject to checks and balances. Yeah, good for him.
So,
I mean, he was a little tongue-in-cheek, but well-received. I mean, he got a standing ovation when he walked into Congress.
He did, and he did. So he did emphasize, he also said a couple of things about Ukraine. I know I saw President Zelensky got online today and thanked him for saying that support needed to continue for Ukraine. He also emphasized that both nations needed to work together.
The challenges we face are too great for any one nation to bear alone. But in this unpredictable environment, our alliance cannot rest on past achievements or assume that foundational principles simply endure. As my Prime Minister said last month, ours is an indispensable partnership. We must not disregard everything that has sustained us for the last 80 years. Instead, we must build on it. The essence of our two nations is a generosity of spirit and a duty to foster compassion, to promote peace, to deepen mutual understanding, and to value all people of all faiths and of none.
And I have to say that of all the countries that we are now maybe offending or maybe sideways with or having some issues with, including those that have historically been our friend, the United Kingdom is still friendly with the United States for the most part, and we're friendly with them,
it's
right?
Ish, right? So there's still certainly a tension. One of the things that's really interesting to me is right after, while the president was meeting with the King of England, the White House posted a picture of the two of them walking together with the caption "Two Kings," and it's like, ouch. We don't. That was 250 years ago. We decided we didn't want a king here. So I thought that was quite interesting. Although I do have to say that when the president was speaking at dinner, he complimented the king's address to Congress earlier in the day and acknowledged that he actually got applause from Democrats.
I want to congratulate Charles on having made a fantastic speech today at Congress. He got the Democrats to stand. I've never been able to do that.
Good for him.
So
in any case, they're here for officially for 4 days. They will not be visiting, the king's son, Harry. Yeah, he's in California. So there's a little bit of history there.
I've still never understood the whole king thing in the United Kingdom. I mean, they have a parliament, they have a prime minister, they have everything in place that you would expect to be running the country, and yet you still have a king. And of course, we had the Queen Elizabeth for decades,
70 years,
who stood over that country in ways that were very profound. But you also wonder at the end of the day what real power or influence they have, except just advisory, I guess.
I think it's largely ceremonial. It's financial for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's largely ceremonial. They don't run the government anymore. Of course, they used to. Their history goes back a lot longer than American history.
Right. And he was with the Queen, Camilla.
Yeah.
You think about who could have been the Queen, Diana.
I know.
That would have been interesting to see her today. I'm sure she would have. I mean, I think his visit would have attracted a lot more attention because of her. She was larger than life, and sometimes in some respects larger than him. And
look, it's been a really long time, and I am still Team Diana. So, that was a really messy period for the monarchy. And if you remember, I think within a year, Andrew and Fergie divorced, and William and Diana divorced. And I think the Queen called it just a horrible year in Latin, right? It was the Annus Horribilis or something like that.
It's odd that the king doesn't see his son while he's here, but that relationship is strained too.
And it may also be they're on the other coast.
Yeah. So. Maybe it's just easier said than done. Of course, when you're the king, you can get to the coast.
Yes.
Pretty easily.
Yeah, when you're the king, you can do whatever you want.
Do anything you want. It's good to be king.
Have you ever watched the show The Crown?
No.
I've watched the beginning parts of it. It's super interesting, and I think really like it's fictionalized, but there's so much, like they live in an entirely different world. I don't know what it would be like to have somebody dress me. Like that's just different. You know what I'm saying?
Just rather do yourself.
Also, I'll give you this little bit of trivia. So his King Charles' son, the next in line is William. It's his 15th wedding anniversary today. He married Kate Middleton. So they're the next in line, and so happy anniversary to them. But anyway, so the news of the day was that King Charles came to the United States. He's trying to soothe over relationships with President Trump. He did visit the 9/11 memorial. He addressed Congress. He went to a fancy state dinner last night. In fact, I saw some things online about the British Embassy preparing tea and crumpets and, the little sandwiches that you get. And they were preparing hundreds of them because the king was going to go by the British Embassy, of course.
I think it's also fun that he comes in this particular year, the 250th anniversary.
Yeah.
I mean, what a showing of class and support and
well, it would be holding a grudge a really long time if
to say,
he
hey,
said,
250 years later.
hey, remember, we actually own you.
Right.
Yeah, no, okay. So, look, a big day of giving is just hours away here in Utah. Tomorrow is Utah Gives, where neighbors, businesses, communities unite to uplift the causes that shape our state. It's really like a spring version of Giving Tuesday. So tomorrow is Utah Gives. We're going to learn more about that when we come back after this break.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
KSL offers the best daily newsletter in the state. It's the 3 things you need to know. Every weekday, we deliver quality and relevant content to your inbox. No ads, no spam, just the 3 things you need to know to be informed about the world around you. Subscribe today. Visit KSLNewsRadio.com or text the word inbox to 57500. That's inbox to 57500.
Learn why so many homebuyers trust Cypress Credit Union's mortgage team to help them find their new home. With countless 5-star reviews, our local housing experts are dedicated to getting you into the home of your dreams with the lowest fees and the quickest keys. Enjoy a smooth home buying process. Visit cypresscu.com to get started.
Cypress Credit Union, your future is our future.
Equal housing lender.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
And expanded Inside Sources.
So, Greg, do you know Giving Tuesday in November? Right after Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes, right.
So it's a nonprofit awareness day. Well, Utah is starting their own tradition of Utah Gives on April 30th, which is tomorrow. So nonprofits around the state are gearing up for one of their biggest fundraising moments of the year, which I didn't even know about, so we get to learn about.
Yeah, that's great.
So we have with us Maggie Klein. She's the Chief Executive Officer of I Care for Kids and part of this Utah Gives movement. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So can you tell us, just give us an overview, what is this whole Utah Gives idea and where can people find out more information maybe?
Absolutely. So the Utah Nonprofit Association is leading a statewide campaign to provide an opportunity for Utahns to support the causes that strengthen our communities. We have a lot of nonprofits here in Utah. And so Utah Gives Day, April 30th, is a day where everybody can get online at utahgives.org and they can learn about the different nonprofits and donate and help the different causes here in our state.
Can you tell us about your particular cause? You're the Chief Executive Officer of I Care for Kids, which I assume is pretty self-explanatory.
Yes.
But if you could maybe help us with it anyway.
Well, let's tell our listeners it's I-E-Y-E-I.
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course. I Care. Yes.
Yes, so I Care for Kids was founded in 2001, and we provide eye exams and eyeglasses to underserved children and adults here in Utah. We have 2 brick and mortar clinics, one in Midvale and one in Ogden, and we also have a mobile clinic that travels throughout the state. We go to schools, we partner with 15 different school districts, and that's continually growing. We also go to homeless shelters, refugee centers, domestic violence shelters, Native American reservations, and rural communities. And Utah is mostly rural, so there's a lot of lack of access to vision care, and so we're able to provide that through our mobile clinic.
Wow, that sounds awesome. How do people, if people want to donate specifically to your organization, how do they do that? What's the best way?
Yeah, so they can go to utahgives.org now through tomorrow, the end of tomorrow, and they can just look up I Care for Kids, EYE, CARE, the number 4, KIDS, and they can also go to our website. So it's icareforkids.org. So anytime after that, they can go there. But right now we're focusing on this campaign, and we're really excited to be a part of it.
Do you take financial donations? Do you take, like, for example, eyeglass donations or both?
Yeah, so we do both. So the glasses that we provide are brand new, but we're also the Salt Lake Lions Club. So we collect glasses, used glasses, and we work with the neighboring Lions clubs to help provide those glasses to third world countries. So we do both, but we do accept donations online, and we also, appreciate donations from foundations and corporations, and would love to be able to connect with those different entities if they're willing to give.
Can you tell us more about the Utah Nonprofits Association? They're kind of the umbrella organization behind this. Is that right?
Yes, they are. Yeah. So, like I said, an incredible campaign that they've put together, really bringing us all together and bringing awareness to all of the different causes here in our state. So that's really what they're all about, and they've done a really great job promoting this.
So I might put you on the spot here. Do you happen to know how many nonprofit organizations are in the state of Utah?
I actually don't know.
Thousands?
I don't either.
We probably have the most in the country.
I know it's a lot,
Yes.
so I don't know
We're
either.
a very generous and giving state, for sure.
What do you think it is about Utah that causes that? I mean, we are a very, very generous and giving state. We hear it all the time, and I think even nationally people would say that. And I know there's probably no really correct answer about this, but there's something about the people here that they do want to give. They do feel like giving is part of what they should do.
Absolutely. You know, I love living here. I love that we get to be surrounded by such a giving community. I don't have the answer to that. I think there's just a lot of people that just want to serve, and they see there's a lot of need for people that have been living there their whole lives, and even people that have come here from other countries or other states that are just struggling. And we're just really focused on human beings, which I love, and being able to help uplift them. And so, yeah, I think we're just a really lucky state.
So I went to utahgives.org, and I'm looking on their homepage. They have a leaderboard, so a little incentive, right, to get people and supporters out there donating.
Right.
The top one on the board right now is the Kimball Arts Center. Second one is historic downtown Brigham City. And third is the Humane Society of Utah, which has had 151 different donors just since they opened up the portal, which was this morning?
So they opened up the portal earlier this month.
Okay, this month. Okay, so they've had 151 different people donate a total of just under $10,000 for the Humane Society. So
That's
all
amazing.
kinds of different nonprofit organizations out there right now.
Yes, so there's a lot out there, and we're trying to get on that leaderboard. So,
You're probably on there.
So we'd love to get on there. I've been telling people it's $40 to change a child's life.
I was going to say, that's got to be something, Maggie, to see a child put on a pair of glasses who maybe hasn't had them either before how important that is. I mean, it's got to be rewarding for you and your organization to do that for a child. Absolutely. And have them look at the world in a way they've never seen it before.
Yes, it is amazing. We actually just had a couple preschoolers in St. George, at a school in St. George, and it was the sweetest thing. They put on their glasses and they could see their teacher's face. And they're like, I can see your face. And you think, if they couldn't see their face, they couldn't see anything else that they've been trying to learn. And another preschooler made a comment and said, these glasses are magic. And they really are. It's incredible what vision is everything. And so when a child can't see, they can't learn.
Yeah.
And I've actually seen teenagers and young adults who have never had a pair of glasses, and they're seeing their child's face for the first time, or they're, getting to see what they look like in the mirror. They're, how they're doing their hair. It really helps their self-confidence. And so we're so fortunate that we have this organization where we're able to provide that such a life-changing solution. And it's a simple solution, right? $40, you change a child's life. It's amazing.
And you must have professionals, obviously, that fit the glasses in terms of the prescription or whatnot, that you have people that are there that can say, hey, you need this and you need that. I mean, those are people that are obviously part of your team as well.
Yes, we work with optometrists, we have opticians, we have techs, we have really great technology that we're able to take on the road with us, which is wonderful, that we were able to meet people where they are. And I think that's really important too, because there's so many barriers to getting care. Like I said, we do have our 2 clinics, one in Midvale and one in Ogden, but having to take your child out of school when 2 parents are working, that's a barrier. And a lot of these parents are having to choose between buying groceries or getting their child glasses.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is a lot of the time they don't even know that they need glasses, right? They only know what they see, and when they put those glasses on, it's a completely different world. So
I think, just being a parent, in fact, I even remember being a kid saying I wanted to wear glasses, right? My vision was really good until I turned 45. But but I wanted to wear glasses, but I had classmates that had to sit so close to the board because they couldn't see if they sat in the back of the room. And I remember, like, my kids too, I had several of them of like, I want to wear glasses, but several of them really needed it. And in fact, I have a daughter now who, like, she wears contacts now, but when she was a kid, she had to wear those really thick glasses. So did my husband. He was legally blind, actually, and LASIK helped him, but he was from a family that really struggled financially as well. And for him, it was one of the things that was really life-changing for him. He could actually see the board. And to your point, they didn't know what they were missing until they put those on. It's like, oh, that's what it's supposed to look like.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've had a lot of stories. Even, I mean, as simple as texture on brick.
Yeah.
Little kids are just like touching things because they're like, I had no idea that there was texture on this. But yeah, we've had a lot of success stories. And like I said, we're very fortunate to be able to bless others with vision.
So I can imagine you said you have a mobile, like a bookmobile kind of a thing that goes around and then the kids can come in. And you said that you can travel around. What is it that you use?
We do. So we actually have a minivan, and we have all of our equipment, and we go into the schools. So we'll set up in a gym or a library or at the shelters. So everything is right there. We have a doctor on site, and so the kids come right in, they see the doctor, they pick out their frames, and then we schedule another day to come back and dispense them so that the glasses fit well on them.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. That was Maggie Klein, Chief Executive Officer. You're a big shot.
Yeah.
I Care for Kids, EYE, Care for the number 4 Kids. Look them up and donate. That's a wonderful cause. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
When we come back, we're going to do a special 30 minutes on divorce, from the hidden financial betrayals that quietly unravel marriages to the surprisingly small items that couples want to fight over when everything else falls apart. We'll explain also the power of what's called a prenuptial agreement. Stay with us.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top story this hour, Senator Mike Lee is leading a movement to cut funding for DEI programs, imitating a measure introduced in the state in 2024 that removed all funding at publicly funded institutions and universities promoting assistance to historically marginalized groups. The national focus is on contracts awarded to businesses owned by women and racial or ethnic minorities.
And the term equity can be perceived differently by different people. If one were to use the term fairness instead, I don't think most people would disagree with the notion that scarce resources need to be dealt with in a fair manner. But our laws make certain kinds of decisions unlawful, including when they are based on race.
That was Lee giving his perspective on DEI during a hearing in August of last year. A high school in Sandy has claimed the top spot among Utah public schools for the 5th year in a row. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Beehive Science and Technology Academy has been ranked by U.S. News & World Report as Utah's top public school, followed by Carl G. Mazer Prep Academy and Skyline High School. The report makes their rankings based on 6 factors, with college readiness making the biggest difference, with 30% of the score. The number of students taking advanced placement and international baccalaureate classes are looked at along with their grades. Nationally, Beehive Tech ranked number 547. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A judge has ordered a man serve 4 years of probation after chasing a boy who ding-dong ditched his home. Salt Lake City police say Tony Arnold Burnstone reportedly chased down the 12-year-old and forcefully held him until his parents arrived. Burnstone has also been ordered to self-deport to New Zealand. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones is down 315 points. That's a little over 0.6% rather. The S&P 500 is down 17 points. That's a little over 0.25%. And the NASDAQ is up 51 points. That's just about 0.2%. Coming up, The Who has a blue Sunday, but you're in for a warm Sunday. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:02.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs change, kids grow up, new memes come and go. But what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you don't have to worry about that part part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. You get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices and no one battling for bandwidth for the next 5 years. All your devices will be working in perfect harmony with the equipment, with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though your kid will grow up and you still won't understand 6, 7, the price for your sharp, reliable internet will stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Did you know Utah State University is home to one of the nation's leading centers for disability research and advocacy? At the Institute for Disability Research, Policy, and Practice, we work side by side with Utahns with disabilities, their families, and community partners to make our state more accessible and inclusive for everyone. Our researchers, educators, and advocates partner with family service providers and policymakers to create real, lasting change. We believe that everyone deserves a chance to live, learn, work, and play in our communities. From helping children reach their potential in early intervention programs, to building accessible technologies, to improving mental health and employment supports, our work touches every corner of the state. The Institute for Disability Research, Policy, and Practice is the only disability-focused research center in the state of Utah. That means we're Utah's home for innovation, data-driven policy, and community solutions that make life better for people with disabilities. Find us at idrpp.usu.edu.
Ready for your next vehicle? At Performance Automotive in Bountiful, your new Ford, Toyota, or Honda is here. Built for Utah communities, Canyon weekends, and everything in between. Choose capability with Ford, long-lasting reliability with Toyota, or smooth efficiency with Honda. Backed by friendly experts and financing options that fit your budget. Visit Performance Ford, Performance Toyota, and Performance Honda for your test drive. Browse inventory, check pricing, and schedule your visit at performancebountiful.com. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, driven to be the best.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Here's Tito Nani.
We're still dealing with an accident on northbound I-15 at 5300 South in Murray. This is causing slowdowns back towards 7200 South in Midvale. It has the right lane as well as the shoulder blocked at the moment. We have another accident. It's on eastbound I-80 near 3200 West in Salt Lake. This also has the right lane and shoulder blocked, but it doesn't appear to be affecting speeds at the moment. Super Trees packs Utah's coolest plants, pottery, gifts, and classes into one must-see stop. Fresh truckloads of trees arrive weekly. Receive 10% off this month at the Riverton store or supertrees.com. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
We're going to have a high of 63 today, with highs soaring through the 60s this week to 73 on Sunday and 78 on Sunday. 73 on Saturday, rather. Right now, though, it's 55 degrees in fair downtown. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
Well, we're going to spend the next half hour talking about, of all things, divorce. Not because it's a fun thing to talk about, but because I think it's really a necessary thing to talk about. And one of the things that caught my attention about a Wall Street Journal article that we're looking at here is something that I've seen in my own practice when I've done people's divorces, and that is what we call financial infidelity, and just how easy it is for a spouse to hide assets and spending from another spouse.
Yeah, I think this one caught my eye as well, and it's one of the things that is really an indicator, as I understand, of, or a leading cause behind some of the divorces that are happening. And I think it's fair to talk about divorce rate. It has been going down, especially for the younger generation. But still, 1 in 3 people who have ever been married do experience at least one divorce. And I'm seeing, this is a Wall Street Journal series, they're saying that for older people, the rate is actually rising.
Yeah, and so we're talking about something called financial infidelity, which is when one spouse spends money without advising the other spouse,
or
for example,
keeps it secret.
or hides it. Yes, and it's a form of infidelity. It truly is, and I've seen it happen where the couple gets to the point where somebody, the wife says, "Hey, we're broke. We don't have any money. Everything. What's going on?" And they finally start unraveling a trail, gambling, or spending money on
another family,
or your girlfriend, or whatever it happens to be, or just spending money on silly things. And it happens. I mean, I had a representative, a woman where her husband was just buying coins and stuff all the time, and he did that because he could hide them. They're not in the bank. They don't have a record. But then she had found out that he'd done all this. Of course, then when they're getting divorced, he can't find any of them. So the money was just gone. It was horrible. It was really troubling. And it happens all the time. And there are ways to prevent it, obviously, which is to have some link to what the one person is spending so that both people have access to the accounts. But that doesn't always take into account some, like you may say, oh, I need $200 to go to the grocery store, and then you only spend $50.
Right. Yeah, so it's interesting. So this Wall Street Journal article inside the financial infidelities, I mean, my very first thought is, okay, well, they have separate accounts and they're not, sharing. And in fact, I saw something recently talking about divorce online where a lot of times maybe you start a marriage and the woman is providing, her income is providing for, say, the mortgage and the groceries and stuff, and her partner, her husband, pays for all the other things. If they end up getting divorced, what ends up happening is he has built his wealth and investments and she has not.
Right.
And that can be an issue as well. But here's one of the things that they say is even if you share accounts, you can have things like maybe you don't track, maybe you're not tracking the extra credit card, or the credit card was set up in a different account. But even with the shared accounts, if you're not following, the money can just trickle away or go away in big chunks.
Yeah, and sometimes by the time you're getting to the divorce part, it's so late in the game that there's water under the bridge and the money's gone and there's no place for it. And so you divide the assets and the assets are zero. And you think that you've built this nest egg. You think your spouse has been investing or putting things to work. I've even seen cases where you haven't made the house payment for 6 months. What's going on? I've been giving you this money to do that.
Right.
And suddenly we're about to be foreclosed on.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, I've heard that story too, where one spouse was supposed to be in charge of the finances and paying everything. In fact, I had it within my extended family. Each person thought the other person had taken charge of paying the mortgage. They went over a year, and then when the bank was ready to foreclose, they finally had the conversation of, hey, I thought you were doing this. And they're like, no, I thought you were doing this. And so it was their kids, their adult children, who had to step in and help solve that. So I thought that was really interesting.
I remember a study, and it's been a while, that money was actually the leading cause of divorce among couples. I don't have any reason to doubt that that's not the case now, but you think you're going along pretty well, and then suddenly you're not. And another thing is people think, well, we're broke, we need to separate. That doesn't necessarily make it better. Having people have to make 2 house payments and double some of their costs, but on the other hand, if your spouse is taking your money, you may have no choice but to stop the bleeding at some point.
It's one of the things that they did. They did this whole series. There's 10 different articles that the Wall Street Journal did. One of the other ones that I've looked at is what it's like to retire in America after divorce. And I thought that was interesting too. And they talked to several people, and with one woman, she ended up with her house, the house in California, so it was worth a lot. She ended up selling the house, and then she was hit with a $200,000 tax bill. She was filing her taxes as a single person, so she couldn't claim the capital gains exclusion, right? Because the full amount for a married couple filing jointly, because she was filing single. And then it drove up her income, and so she was hit with additional adjustments to her Medicare Part B. I mean, it's like some of those types of things are like, I would have never thought of that. Not that I'm thinking of getting divorced.
Right. No, I had a woman who, when her husband died, she learned for the very first time that he hadn't paid taxes. He just hadn't paid income tax. And the IRS, having no sense of humor about that kind of stuff, had put a lien. She thought she had this house.
Having no sense of humor.
She thought she had this house. It was paid for and everything was great, but they had a lien on it. I would say this, and this is not legal advice, this is not precedent by any means. The IRS was incredibly kind to her, and we worked it out so that they didn't just take the house, because they absolutely could have. And I'm not saying every creditor will be that way, and I'm not saying at all that the federal government would be that way, but when they realized what had happened, and it was a lot of work on our part, to get her out of that situation, they did give her a huge break on what her husband had done to her, which was basically, I mean, just not paying taxes. You'd think they catch up with you someday, but it was like a decades that he just hadn't paid taxes.
Yeah. And again, I think this idea of hiding money, I don't even know if it's as much about the money as is the dishonesty, right? You know that you're not telling your spouse about your spending on the side, or you think that you're going to be able to get on top of the gambling debt, so you're just throwing good money after bad, right? Because as soon as I get it back, then I'm going to replace it in the account, right? And then she'll
never know, right?
Right, exactly. She'll never know, right? But that's part of the issue. Communication, of course, in relationships is just so important.
Yeah, and there's also when one spouse has a business, whatever it happens to be, and they're funneling money into the business, thinking if we get divorced, I'll take the business, he can take the house or whatever.
Right.
And the business is suddenly valued at a tremendous amount of money. Those are really hard to figure out. You've got to get evaluators to come in and say, hey, this is what it's worth, and divide by 2, and each party gets their half.
And look, I have questions and again, I'm not headed towards divorce, but I have questions as a stay-at-home mom for so long, right? I mean, I was one of the moms who put my husband through school, and now I have additional education and opportunities. But for a long time, I was the stay-at-home mom without a lot of job prospects, and I think that's something that can be scary as well. Okay.
Well, yeah, when we come back after the break, we're going to go through some other unexpected items that couples fight for after divorce, and we'll have an expert with us. We're going to also talk about how a prenuptial agreement can help settle the battle. Stay with us. So, I am 3 weeks into my diet with SOTA, SOTA, and I am now wearing slacks that I have not worn in 5 or 6 years. When I turned 60, and I'm well past 5 or 6 years of 60, but I started gaining weight, and I gained a weight at a rate that I couldn't stop, and I tried everything to try to lose weight. I've never been on an organized diet or something where someone told me what to do, because I always thought, hey, you can do it yourself. Well, I couldn't do it myself. And it got to a point where I was not able to wear some of the nice suits that I had, some of the slacks that I had, and it was a real problem. I couldn't even wear my wedding ring for a while. And so I contacted SOTA because I'd heard about it from some of the people here at KSL. SOTA, S-O-T-A, Diet Nutrition. Their website is sotadietnutrition.com. And I said, sign me up, see what I can do. They actually had my wife involved in it too, and because you can have your spouse involved for free if you join. And I said, I don't want to take medication. I'm just adverse to that. I don't want to take pills. I don't want to take injections. Can we do it based on a diet? They said, that's exactly what we do. They had a nutritionist, a coach who lined me out. I weigh myself every Wednesday. Today happened to be my day, and I've lost 16 pounds in 21 days. Proud to say that. I couldn't lose that in 8 years. SOTA Diet Nutrition has worked out well for me. You just adjust what you buy at the store, what you eat, and how you eat it, and it works out well. Remember that SOTA Diet Nutrition. Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org. Hey, Mammoth fans, the 2026-27 season tickets are on sale now. Be there for every goal, every hit, and every moment of the next season. Season ticket members get the best seats, the best value, and exclusive perks all season long. Call or text 801-325-PUCK. That's 801-325-PUCK to reserve your seats today. Don't miss a moment next season. Tusk's up.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you want to walk, play pickleball, and enjoy other fun activities to stay healthy, but you can't because of bad feet? Hi, this is Mike, and the Good Feet store wants to help.
I just had difficulty walking. I tried them on in the store, and my foot felt so much better.
Do you keep buying new shoes and inserts with little or no relief?
I tried all kinds of shoes. It was the arch supports that made the difference from the Good Feet store.
Don't let bad feet, knees, or back problems get in the way of staying healthy and having fun.
Thanks to the Good Feet store, I'm bowling 3 nights a week.
Get back to doing what you love. At the Good Feet store, we'll personally fit you at high-quality arch supports to maximize your comfort. Stop in the Good Feet store or book your free fitting at goodfeet.com. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, Flo here from Progressive. You know, life changes quickly, so it's good to have flexible coverage.
Oh, you mean like adding another vehicle?
Yes, that's something we can do.
Great, because I was thinking about getting a van so we could just keep the kids' softball stuff in the car.
Oh, we don't need to get into specifics. Just saying it's easy to change.
Oh, and Hannah wants to try the tuba.
Again, we don't need the specifics.
Last year, she wanted to be a tap dancer, but that only lasted 2 lessons.
Okay.
But she kept the shoes because they are adorable.
Well, just know that with Progressive, you can easily add another car to your auto insurance because we know life changes.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
All in together now, we can make it better. Can we do it? We'll rope it up.
Cause we know how to jump. Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
And expanded Inside Sources. Inside Sources.
So we know that divorce can bring on some big battles, and I haven't been divorced, but I have several kids who have been. And it's interesting what some people will basically go to war over. And I'm looking at the Wall Street Journal article. They did a series of 10 articles, but one of the ones is, the unusual things that people went to war for in their divorce. The really sad part is they list 4 different items plus 1 chocolate lab, a dog. And they're saying every one of them, one of the spouses was really dragging their feet because they wanted to hurt the other one. That's why.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it is. Like, I just want the dog.
Yeah.
Well,
and in
even
fact,
if you didn't care
they
about
said they
it.
didn't even want the dog. This person, it was the husband in this case, who was going to be an ex-husband. They talked to the divorce attorney, and they said that this client spent about $70,000 fighting for sole custody of a Labrador Retriever that the client and his ex bought for about $3,000. The client didn't even want the dog. He just knew his wife adored it.
Just wanted to hurt her.
Lame.
Yep,
and
yeah.
then at the end, he ended up letting her have it. So
even though he spent $70,000.
Oh my gosh. So that's wild to me. There's some other things they mentioned. The Walgreens rewards account. Like, really? Like, are you serious?
But we earned that.
The leg lamp, and this is from the movie,
yeah.
right?
Right,
The
yeah.
one leg lamp. Spices. This was interesting. One of the stories in the Wall Street Journal article said they had cooked together and they had this collection of spices, and the ex-wife went to the cupboard one day and like her spices were cleaned out, and he took them because he knows she
liked to cook.
She liked to cook, and he didn't want her to cook for another man, and so he just cleaned out her spice collection. So
yeah. And then the engagement ring.
And the
I always
engagement
assumed
ring,
the
that I
ring was a
get.
gift.
Yeah, but there's some money there. So do you sell it, or I guess that's the issue. Okay, so we have with us on the line Senator Todd Weiler, who also happens to be a divorce attorney, and we thought we would just ask you, Senator, what are some of the things you have seen people fight over in divorce situations?
The one that has stuck with me, Holly, and Greg will appreciate this. This goes back to the 90s before universal remote controls were so ubiquitous. But I was actually in court, and one of the parties had the TV, and the other one had the remote, and neither one would give up the other one.
I should
and they
not
were both
laugh,
pretty
but oh my
useless
gosh.
without the other one.
No value to it without the other.
Yes. And that was my very first time in court on a family law issue, and I'm like,
Oh, gosh.
is this what I went to law school for? Yeah, and a little bit off topic, but I had one guy. So sometimes recently separated couples, they'll do what's called a nesting arrangement, and so they leave the kids in the home, and then mom and dad come and go like week on, week off. And I had one case where the husband, when he came back into the home, he filled all of his wife's expensive shoes with glue, and he took a black marker and all of their like family pictures, like professional pictures, he drew like black marker on her face.
Wow.
So
that's so petty.
Can be so petty, yes.
Well, I have to ask a question of both of you attorneys here. What are some of the indicators that you have seen by the time people get to you and they're going through a divorce? It feels like some are pretty amicable and they've, grown apart and they can be grown-ups about it. And some of them just feel like a battle royale where you want to do the most harm possible to the other person. What kind of indicators do you see as attorneys that are saying, hey, this is going to be really hostile?
Doesn't it seem, Todd, that sometimes it's if one spouse has maybe cheated, that's sort of a jab that maybe they want to hurt that person? Or are there reasons?
Yes and no, because I think cheating is more of a jab for some people than others. I mean, it's a jab for anybody. But if one spouse, usually married couples, they know how to yank each other's chains, if you know what I mean. And so if one of them, I think if someone perceives that the other one, whether it's cheating or something else, is doing something that they know will deeply hurt them, then they're going to usually be tempted to strike back.
Yeah, like fighting over the dog.
The other side.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now, I've had clients where I think they both truly love the dog, and a lot of judges today will say the dog goes with the kids. So when it's dad's weekend, the dog goes with the kids, and that's more and more common. And actually, I think that's a pretty good solution. So the kids always have the dog.
That's interesting.
Speaking of kids, Todd, it seems like, now you haven't been around as long as I have, but Utah really, really seems to favor joint custody. It almost like that's almost the default, where it used to be, we do split. And
it is, probably 98% of the time.
Yeah. So do you think that's helped divorce situations when couples go into that knowing that's probably what's going to happen, rather than spend tens of thousands of dollars on custody evaluators?
Well, without getting too nerdy on this, there's joint legal custody, there's joint physical custody, and nobody understands what those terms mean. But I do think that judges tend to believe that for major decisions involving the kids' lives, like are they going to get, an ear pierce because you can't undo that? Are they going to go to summer camp for 6 weeks? Are they going to switch schools? For major decisions, that's something that the divorced parents should try to discuss and come to an agreement on before they take that matter to the judge.
Let me ask both of you again about prenuptial agreements. So the Wall Street Journal, they said, look, there's some surprising clauses that people are putting in their prenups now, like who gets custody of the embryos if they're doing IVF or if they have crypto, of course, the dogs, et cetera. But do you see value in prenuptial agreements, or does that somehow hit us still as a lack of trust?
There's a huge stigma attached to them. So almost all of the prenups that I have done, and I've done many, it's, oh, sorry, my family's asking for this, or, my mom's insisting, or my dad said, he won't pay for the wedding unless we get this. So it's always like, sorry, but this other person's, making me get the prenup. And that kind of tends to soften the blow, if you will. I think if someone's, if you have an older person, often a man, I don't try to be sexist here, who has a lot of money and is marrying a younger person, often a woman, I think then it's a little bit more like, okay, I get it. You've got these adult kids and they're worried that I'm, just marrying you for the money. So yeah, I'll sign the prenup. And some prenups will say, if you stay with me 5 years, you get $100,000. If you stay with me 10 years, you get $500,000. I've seen things explicitly spelled out like that. Those are more the Hollywood prenups, but anything that's done in Hollywood just starts kind of drifting down to Salt Lake eventually.
Do you think it helps, Todd, with the prenuptial agreement to sort of articulate what each side is walking into the marriage with? For example, the husband has a house, he owns the house, he's got about $500,000 in equity. That it might be helpful just to explain that, so that if things go badly 5 or 6 years from now, at least you have that baseline.
I do, and I think a good prenup. you'll disclose all of your assets and your debts. Like on a first date, most people don't say, by the way, I have $75,000 in credit card debt.
Right.
You know,
Right.
That's not, what you start off with. But that is something you should know, I think, about your spouse before you get married, especially, now most people in Utah get married young, like under the age of 25, and hopefully by then you don't have $75,000 in credit card debt, although some 25-year-olds do for sure. But, a lot of times prenups are coming into the equation when it's a second marriage. People are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, or even 60s. And I do think it's fair to lay your cards on the table, especially when there's adult children who are expecting an inheritance when you pass, which is what prenups are often about.
So I just have a really quick question. We only have like a minute left, but I am wondering from your perspective for moms who've been stay-at-home moms and then they end up in a divorce, what kind of options are available? Do you see the courts in Utah doing when those moms maybe haven't been out in the workforce for a really long time?
A lot of times they're still getting alimony. Now, alimony is designed by law for long-term marriages. We don't define that, but we kind of use a rule of thumb about 10 years. And so, if you're a mom, stay-at-home mom with 8 years, I'm not saying you can't get alimony, but you have the best argument if you've put your career on hold and stayed at home and you've been married for, something around 10 years or longer. Social Security uses 10 years to get someone's benefits, after you're divorced, and that's why it's become a rule of thumb in Utah. But what I will say is a lot more and more I'm seeing, like we'll do alimony for 3 years to give mom a chance to finish her degree or to give mom a chance to get experience in the workplace. And maybe it's a little bit higher the first year and then it drops down the second year or third year, or it could be 5 years or 7 years. But often it's kind of a launching pad to say, okay, mom, we recognize you can't go out and earn a full-time living right now, but we also want to give you an incentive to not just stay at home and get alimony forever, especially if the kids are out of the house.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. That was Senator Todd Weiler. We're talking about divorce. And, we do have one texter who let us know that his parents got divorced after 40 years, and it was still hard, even for adult kids. Yeah. Okay. When we come back, we're going to talk with the host of the Coaches Book Club about her conversation with Real Salt Lake's Pablo Mastroeni and his battle with anxiety and the book that helped him. I've read it. Stay with us.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Cameron Elliott. KSL's top national story this hour. From ABC News, the U.S. Army Special Forces soldier indicted for insider trading is now out on bond. He's accused of using classified information about the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to place wagers on Polymarket and make thousands of dollars. Here's ABC's Aaron Kotursky.
This is the first case of insider trading on prediction markets that allow users to wager on almost anything from the war in Iran to the FIFA World Cup. Defense attorneys are promising a fight.
Mr. Van Dyke is an American hero, is somebody who is charged, unfortunately, with something that is not a crime.
But sources tell ABC News federal prosecutors are now investigating other cases of well-timed trades on prediction markets.
Master Sergeant Van Dyke was involved in the planning and execution of the raid. He pleaded not guilty. Other national stories KSL is following. Players who cover their mouths when confronting an opponent will get a red card at this summer's World Cup. ABC's Dave Backer explains.
FIFA proposed toughening the sanctions after Real Madrid forward Vinicius Jr. claimed he was racially abused by Brazilian Benfica Gianluca Prestiani while he covered his mouth, preventing officials and spectators from lip-reading during a February Champions League match. Pierluigi Collina, head of refereeing at FIFA.
We need to do our best to protect the image of the game, in particular in a competition like the World Cup, which is the most viewed competition in sport around the world.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow Jones is down 300 points. That's a little over 0.6%. The S&P 500 is down 15 points. That's a little over 0.2. And the NASDAQ is down 68 points. That's a little over 0.25. Coming up, it's going to be a warm-up week with a hot weekend. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
The source is where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Doug Wright here with Monty at Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer. Monty, give it to me straight. Why is Connecticut the premium choice over those standard electric softeners?
Doug, it comes down to this. Do you want an appliance you have to babysit? Standard water softeners have microprocessors and computers that need setting and adjustment, and they use a lot more salt. So you get to haul 40-pound bags of salt down to your basement every month or so.
And Connecticut?
Zero electricity, zero timers to reset, zero downtime, and uses 70% less salt. It's a higher standard of engineering that completely removes the hassle of owning a water softener.
That's what I love about my Connecticut. Dee and I never have to even think about it. We occasionally add a bag of salt and it just works, and I've never had to set or adjust anything. Do what I did and get the one that just works. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at UCCU.com. Here's Tito Nani.
Slowdowns remain in place on northbound I-15 between 5300 South in Murray and 7200 South in Midvale. An accident from earlier is still in the cleanup stages with the right lane and shoulder blocked off. And we have a new accident in Utah County. It's on the southbound I-15 on-ramp at Pioneer Crossing in Lehigh. It looks to be off to the shoulder and out of traffic. Tito Nani in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today and tomorrow are going to be temperate with highs in the mid-60s, but things are going to kick up on Saturday with a high of 73, and then they really go on Sunday with a high of 78. Right now, though, it's 57 degrees and fair downtown. I'm Cameron Elliott from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The all-new Inside Sources. Your inside access to the people and policies shaping Utah's future. Here are Greg Skordas and Holly Richardson on KSL News Radio.
So I am a big podcast listener, and this one is really fun. It's the Coaches Book Club. It's a unique KSL podcast. Opens up conversations with coaches by discussing books that impacted them. And today we're talking with the host of the Coaches Book Club, Amy Donaldson. Thanks, Amy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Tell us how to turn on our microphone.
Don't ask me. I'm a print reporter over here, pretending to be a podcaster.
So I was interested in this latest one with the Real Salt Lake coach, Pablo Mastroeni. Is that his name?
Mastroeni, yeah.
And he had his own issue, and he was going through a process. I guess his brother had passed away from.
Yeah, he was kind of at the height of his career in his early 30s. Was playing for the men's national team, played on a World Cup, 2 World Cups, and had led the Colorado Rapids to an MLS championship in 2010. But around that time, he had a pretty bad concussion, and he started having more severe anxiety. And like I suffer from anxiety, so I know a lot of us who have anxious personalities. Like we always think everyone lets everyone know when I get on a plane. I've called all my relatives and told them where my money and my will is, Right. So, but he thought this was kind of normal, and they said no, this isn't normal. And they kind of did some work, and he went into therapy and found out that there was this incident that had happened when he was a kid that had really kind of set his thermostat to believe that catastrophe was always waiting for you around a corner.
Oh, he didn't recognize that.
Not until he went through.
Interesting.
So I mean, he always knew, and we talked about this on the episode, and it's published on Monday, so you can listen to it now. And the book, we were actually talking about, how he kind of came to this realization, and he wasn't sure about telling me about what had happened when he was a kid. He was 5 years old when it happened, but because you're not sure what a sports reporter wants, right? So we went down this road that you don't always have in sports talk, right? Which is what I love about the podcast, and that is sort of what makes you you, and how does that influence not just the player you became, but how you cross over into coaching? Because playing and coaching are completely different.
We have some sound
challenges.
from Pablo. Let's play that now.
Where she was watching my younger brother, and he had died of SIDS. And so when my mom got home from work, she went to go check on the baby, and he was blue. And I was outside and on the front stoop with my cousin, and we were reading this book, and I can still remember the cover of the book when I heard my mom and my dad, they both came home at the same time, the guttural screams coming from inside the house. And it was so crazy. And I remember the fire department coming over, and the fireman giving me a stick of spearmint gum that was just so brittle it'd break apart. And he said to me, "Don't worry, once you put it in your mouth, it's going to be like normal chewing gum." And I remember these crazy moments of that experience, but I didn't realize the traumatic effect it'd have on my overall psyche and how I would perceive the world.
That's amazing. That
you made me cry. So
to get him to open up that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I will say most of our conversations have been like this. It's a sports podcast, but it's also like how you became you podcast and how you overcame challenges. And the thing I've always loved about athletics is, and competition, is that the challenges that you face, like in a game, they also translate into life. And what I got to know Pablo when I was making my podcast, Making of a Moment, and never have I dealt with a coach who was more open and vulnerable and like just willing to let you see who he was. And that was intriguing, and that's why we have Coach's Book Club, because then he told me about the book he read called Untethered Soul. And we talked a lot about how it helped him put things in perspective and recognize that death isn't waiting around every single corner, right? Of course you'd think that if you're 5 years old, you just moved to this new country, he came from Argentina, and the only place he felt at home was on the soccer field. He didn't understand that until he went through therapy and then reading both of Michael Singer's books, The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment, which basically help you. There's so many things about it, but there's ways in which we make our world smaller and more dangerous when we're operating from fear, and when we're operating from faith, it's a totally different ballgame. And so that was, when we had this conversation, I was listening to the tape, and actually it was my husband was listening to me listening to tape, and he said, who is this guy? I could listen to him all day. And then a couple of years later, I actually ended up reading the book.
Yeah.
And when I was going through some things, and I thought, we should do a book club.
So I have read that book, and I wonder if you could just tell our listening audience just the 30,000-foot view about this book, because it's pretty popular in some circles and completely unheard of in other circles.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about his books is how it asks you to look at your experiences. One example, like there's if you have a sliver in your hand, right? So most of us, we hurt ourselves. We avoid touching. If you're sore or you have an injury, I don't want to walk on that sliver. And so we go to great lengths when something hurts us not to touch it, not to bump it, not to let the world bump it. And so we end up building this scaffolding around things that are painful, and that actually limits our growth. When the better strategy, the more growth-oriented strategy would be, hey, I have this thing that hurts me. What's going on here? What's happening? What do I need to address? And then you take the sliver out, and it doesn't hurt you anymore. Right? Or you build all this scaffolding around it, and you can't use your arm, and he goes through this elaborate thing, he takes you through different things. My favorite chapter of the book is the one on death, which I read aloud to my husband and daughter one morning. Because I'm like, you guys, it's not a long book, and the chapters are short, but it was so profound, and I think I've covered crime and corrections. You've lived in that universe, Greg. There are lots of times when I would wonder, like, why is this the way it is? Why isn't it fair? And what can I do about it? Or do I just feel hopeless because you can't change anything? And that is what he addressed. I mean, the book, no matter what your perspective is, like what your orientation is, whether you're a spiritual person or not, a religious person or not, it just helps you be a little bit more less afraid of confrontation, less afraid of pain, and more grateful for everything kind of that comes your way. And I think for a person who, like me, who like has always been kind of like, oh, what if something bad happens? You think, okay, whatever happens, happens. Maybe it's not good or bad. Maybe what happens is going to happen, and then I'm going to make it mine, right? And that is what he brings to coaching. I think the interesting thing about it, and we've had some amazing books. I mean, we have some amazing coaches coming up, and the books they've recommended, I've been reading ahead. This month it's soccer month because, the World Cup's coming. So Pablo's here, and then we'll have him back on at the end of the month. But we have Jason Kreis has recommended a book. I've just started his book. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I told my boss, Cheryl Worsley, I feel like I'm going through this boot camp for like leadership and life skills. And these are all books recommended by coaches, books that either shaped them or changed them or influenced how they lead. And it's been fascinating because the coach in this one little narrow way, and then they come in and they tell you about, the Royals coach, Jimmy Conrads. He had open heart surgery, and at one point in the interview, he said, "Just if you hear a ticking, that's the pacemaker in my chest."
Gosh.
But he's talking about how he got into women's athletics and just giving, honestly, if you're a man, listen to his interview, a life lesson on what it means to listen and validate and not always try to solve other people's problems. Wow. It's a great parenting advice. But the books have been amazing, and I've just been. I thought people are going to. I've been blown away by how interesting it's been.
I wish we had a little more time with you because I'm thinking about your focus on coaches. We've all had them, motivators, speakers, get us out there, do what they need to do, but very private in their own personal life. And you've been able to get inside that. I think that's fascinating. So will you tell our listeners how they can find the podcast and where it drops?
Yeah, every Monday it's available in all the normal like Apple and on the KSL app, but and Spotify. But you can also go to KSL Sports, the YouTube page, and you can see video. We do video with the coaches. And then, so we have every month we have a main book, and this month it's The Untethered Soul. And each coach or player, we brought on Olympians, like we've had Noel Picus-Pace. We had Jared Ward. I mean, he's one we had during the month because we had a bunch of running coaches and athletes on. And we had Courtney Wayment from BYU. But Jared is an amazing storyteller. And him talking about qualifying for the Olympics and just he brought two statistical and books, and I was like, this is gonna be so boring. It was fascinating. What are what's in your life that's chance, and what in your life is because you designed it, because you chose it. It's just, amazing storyteller as well.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. That's
Coaches
Amy Donaldson.
Book Club. Thanks.
Yeah. So interesting. We come back, it's graduation season. We're going to have another inspiring story, this one about an 83-year-old getting her degree, fun facts, and closing arguments. Stay with us.
More than 50 million Americans suffer from a form of mental illness.
And Utah isn't immune, with nearly 1 in 3 people dealing with anxiety, depression, or another form of mental illness.
But there's hope. We can all take action to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe.
That's why KSL has teamed with the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation to bring you hope and help you thrive.
It's Healthy Mind Matters.
Find out more at healthymindmatters.com.
Progressive knows that for business owners, vacations hit different. But hey, at least you finally took a vacation. And look at that. You only answered 53 calls, 84 emails, onboarded 1 new hire, and covered for Chris while he's out on paternity leave, and you did it all from a kayak. Because you, my friend, know how to relax. All right, you may not know how to take a day off, but you do know both your personal and business auto insurance needs can be covered in one place with Progressive. So at least that's relaxing, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
911, tell me exactly what happened.
My son and his wife and their 2 children haven't responded.
Susan Powell disappeared on a snowy morning in 2009.
Your wife is missing, Josh.
Yeah, but I've already...
And you want to think about it for a couple of days?
The podcast, Cold, has gone deep on these kinds of stories.
I'd had this overwhelming feeling that he had done something to her already.
Clearly, something happened on that couch because he cleaned it.
Find and follow Cold wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. The Elevated Group helps businesses stay connected and efficient by providing and managing copiers, printers, and phone systems, helping businesses stay up to date and keep daily operations running smoothly. CEO Graham McMullen joins us with more.
The Elevated Group was founded with a simple focus, combining quality office technology with outstanding customer service. After years of working in the copier and telecom industry in the UK, including supporting major clients like the London Stock Exchange, Buckingham Palace and professional soccer clubs, I saw firsthand how much strong service matters. In highly competitive markets, customer service is what sets businesses apart. It helps you win customers, keep them, and keep their operations running smoothly. When my wife, who is from holiday, and I moved to Utah 7 years ago, starting Elevated Group felt like a natural next step. We launched the company 3 years ago with that same commitment to responsiveness, reliability and care. Today, we're proud to work with businesses across Utah, providing high-quality equipment and fast, dependable support that helps them stay productive and successful every day. Learn more today at elevatedgroup.com.
With a focus on great customer service and quality products, Elevated Group continues to support Utah businesses every day. They work closely with organizations of all sizes to keep operations running smoothly and efficiently. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Right now, water heaters are on sale at Any Hour Services. Schedule a free estimate today to see how much you'll save. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Inside Sources.
This is a really interesting story from our friends at ABC4 about an 83-year-old woman, Nadine Allen, graduating from Utah Valley University, achieving a lifelong goal she once thought would never happen. As she started going to college at BYU in 1961, she planned to go into medicine, but of course other things changed her life. She's graduating next week, earning her third associate degree and a bachelor's degree in university studies, proving it's never too late to follow your dream.
It's never too late. And you know what's so fun about hearing stories like this, right, is it really isn't too late. And so I know sometimes people say, well, why would you even care? Well, she obviously did care, and so she wanted to do it, and so she did. And I think that's great. So tomorrow, I have a daughter graduating from Utah Valley University. She was on the 10-year track where she started when she was 19, and she's 29 now. And I'm proud of her, right? Not 10-year like a professor, 10 years.
Okay.
Because she lived life, too, while she was doing that. And one of the things about UVU is that first of all, they're an open enrollment university where if anybody who wants to go to college, they can get into UVU. But they have a pretty large percentage of non-traditional students. So people who are over 25, for example, right, who are working. And I will tell you that I have this information. So they are graduating 13,400 students tomorrow. This is UVU. And there's lots of graduations going on.
13,000?
Yeah. It's their largest graduating class. And the youngest, do you want to guess the youngest?
20.
16.
Oh, good heavens.
16 years old. The oldest is 83. We just mentioned her. And over 40% of those graduates are older than 25.
Utah Valley University has really come a long way from when we used to be Utah Valley State College or something like that.
UVSC.
And it is now the largest by enrollment university in the state.
It is.
And it's got a great reputation. I was down there, with you not long ago. It's a fun university. It's really set up well, and the student body just looks like they're enjoying college over there.
So I last night went to a farewell reception for President Astrid Tumines, and you know that she announced earlier this year that she's going to step down as president. And we waited in line over an hour because there were so many people there. One of the things that was fun is that she had a lot of her gala gowns were on display on these mannequins, and she is tiny physically, but she is large in personality. She's a force of nature, and she's so fun.
Yeah.
She's really been, I think, a force for good in our state and in our Utah Valley community down there in Utah County. And so I do have these fun facts. The 5 most popular degrees at UVU were in humanities and social sciences, business management, health, psychology, and accounting. Now, humanities and social sciences includes communication, and that's where I got my degree 10 years ago at UVU in communication. And so on Friday, I'm going to speak to that college, and they have so many graduates, they had to split it in half. So I'm speaking in the morning one, and then my daughter is graduating in business management with a bachelor's degree.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's fun.
That's a lot of fun. Good for you.
It is really fun. It is really fun. Okay, so I'm going to have a few facts for today, a few fun facts. So today is April 29th. It's International Dance Day.
Oh.
So I've never been a dancer, but I have really loved watching both ballroom dancers and folk dancers. It's really a lot of fun.
My grandparents danced until they
Really?
died, and they
Really?
were a couple. They were so beautiful together. If you saw them, it was art. I mean, I'll never forget watching my grandparents dance.
Oh, that is amazing. That's amazing. So, okay, so on this day, I have a couple of fun facts about this too. So there's not a lot, but it was in 1854 on April 29th that the first African-American college was chartered in Pennsylvania, and that was Lincoln University. What a great name, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was on this day in 1945, 2 big things happened. First, the U.S. Army liberated Dachau. It was a concentration camp, 31,601 people. And if you remember, some of the images from that time are just like
31,000?
Yeah, in the concentration camp, and they looked like walking skeletons.
Right.
It was just so horrible. Also on this day in 1945, so same year, conscientious objector Desmond Doss saved approximately 75 wounded soldiers in the Battle of Okinawa at Hacksaw Ridge.
That was a movie made about that.
Yeah,
and
so,
it was a very, very well done movie. And he was a conscientious objector. He was
he would not carry a weapon.
Ridiculed by his leaders, the people that were superior to him. But they loved him at the end of that, because what he did was
heroic,
heroic,
right?
Amazing.
He wouldn't carry a weapon, but he did go to war, and he ended up saving, like I said, about 75 people. It was also on this day in 1992. Do you remember the Rodney King trial? Well,
yes.
Riots erupted in L.A. after police officers were acquitted in that on April 29th, 1992. And then it was finally in 2004 that the World War II monument opened in Washington, D.C. So I have been there. I've seen that. But it feels like it's been around for longer than that, but it was only since 2004.
Yeah, interesting. So when are you speaking?
I'm speaking Friday morning, and I'm attending graduation tomorrow morning.
Are both events at UVU?
Yes, both events are at UVU.
And you're speaking at the College of?
Humanities and Social Sciences.
Is that where you teach?
Yes.
Oh, good for you.
Yes.
Well, I'll be
yes to all of the above.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So I do have, I'll give you just a tiny preview. I will tell these graduating students that some of the advice they're going to get, it's just plain bad advice. Follow your passion, just plain bad advice. And then I'm going to tell them why.
Good for you. Well, I was glad we spent half an hour on divorce, and I've been an attorney for 44 years, and I've done a lot of divorces for friends and family. It's not something I specialize in, and it's a process that is just heartbreaking for everyone, not the least of which are the children. And I think a lot of people forget about them when they go through the process because they're too busy hurting each other. And I would just say this, it's easy for me to say, But people who love each other to the point where they are going to get married and they're going to raise a family and they're going to build a house, for whatever reason, when that breaks, it breaks hard. And I don't understand that. But it's a phenomena, and it doesn't make sense. And I don't blame the divorce lawyers who hold themselves out as the sharks in I'll get you what you want and I'll make her suffer if that's what you want. That because some people do want that, but it doesn't do any good. I mean, there are now mediators. There are now people that can sit down with a couple, not to mediate the marriage. Mm-hmm. If it's done, it's done. Mm-hmm. And I completely understand that sometimes you just have to move on. But boy, sit down with somebody like that and get an independent, objective analysis of where you are, because a good lawyer. I mean, even my own situation, when I look at people who are going through divorce, you can tell them from the day they walk in the office, here's how this is going to end up. Mm-hmm. Here's how things are going to get split. Here's what's going to happen. And we can spend 2 years and $50,000 to get there, or we can do it right now. And some people say, no, I want to fight. I want to make him suffer because of what he did to me. But boy, it just doesn't make sense. And I love our family law section of the bar. They're very organized. They're very good. They're very professional. We have judges who are commissioners who are assigned to hear domestic cases. They're all trained. Almost every one of them was once a very skilled top of the line divorce lawyer. And I see them in these courts, and I see them trying to reconcile situations. Again, not the marriage, but just the how it's going to end up. And we do so much. And I just would say, if you're in the throes of a divorce or you're thinking about a divorce, think about a way to get it done in a manner that's not going to cost a lot of energy and hate and problems down the road. Because at the end of the day, especially if you have children, you're going to have to continue to work together. You're going to have to go to the kids' high school graduation and see each other there, or the soccer games and see each other there, or the birth of the first grandchild, and you're going to be there. So think about those things. I don't know. I'll get off my soapbox here, but it's a phenomenon. I don't specialize in divorces, but if you're an attorney, you can't avoid. Your Uncle Bob says, Greg, you're a lawyer. Will you do my divorce? And I do those, and it's I don't know. It was also very, very nice to have Todd Weiler join us, because he's a very skilled divorce lawyer, and he's done both ends of the